Oh, that's neat.
Who's on there? Yeah.
Robin, make sure they call me in.
Who wins? What? Tim Brooks. Who's O'Donnell?
Kathy, I'm sorry, it's a big pile. Remember which one you had inside, but just one.
We've got one right here, I guess. So I called Bim on my way down. I had to call, no, I had to call him on my way down to let him know that one of his cows is doing some babies wrong. She said, no, you're very well. This is her stuff. But
That's how there's something in there that you have. Yeah. I'm sorry, I did not separate them all. Say,
because I showed up last night to sign.
yeah, but there is a couple of things in there.
Oh, there's enough. Oh, this skinny one looks like it's. I think I signed that fat one.
And you need to sign your employee payroll one for the others. The new
Is that
salary.
in here?
It's in one of them. And in case.
I had to sign a payroll.
It's in here somewhere.
Well, it would be in one of the payroll ones, it wouldn't be in here.
That was the one with the new rates.
Well, this is someone's packet.
Oh, this is my
That's someone's packet.
packet.
What? Must be a packet. Somebody's packet. But that's what's in here. Oh, here.
It's in here.
So there's two for you.
It's actually 4 for me.
Oh, see.
Once every quarter, plus the new payroll change. Once every quarter.
You get paid all at once?
No,
So she was having us leave it all.
so there you are. Wow. How's your turn? You have your ratchet straps in the car. If you stay to the very end, I'll give them to you. If you don't, I'll bring them to you. We don't want you to go without. I got beverages, but they're all sparkling water. There's nothing good in here. That's why it's at the beginning.
I signed all these other ones.
That we did too. Happiness something in there.
I think there's something in there. Okay, so. Oh, it was nothing. Well, if you do, Leanne will call you back in. Are you ready to start this? So if this stuff was published on the, came in on the 22nd. How come it was just?
That's when they sent the email.
Okay, so we just came in today?
Today was-
Yeah, it's hard, it's hard.
For ACB, then you-
I'm just saying it's a little hard to absorb when you get it all at the last second. I don't remember seeing it. No.
We've gotten it earlier.
Did you publish a copy of this from Tom Hamilton? But I mean, did you print a copy of the email from Tom Hamilton?
Did I already see?
You forwarded it to me. I'm just seeing that this is printed and did you print that up
Did
too?
you want it printed? This was not on the meeting.
No,
No, he's a citizen who weighed in on the subject.
You guys said you wanted the committee to research and bring it back to you, so I didn't know if you wanted every little piece of information again.
So figure it out, let's print every Facebook post too, because that's up there too. Don't do that, let's, no.
okay, we'll bring the meeting to order. Yeah, first on the agenda is elect chairman of the board. Nominate Sue Boulay. Give you a chance.
Yes.
Who do you say, Lee?
I will abstain.
Accept.
And I nominate Kathy.
So what happens now?
Done a good job.
What happens now?
You vote? We'll do this.
One or the other. I nominate Sue, Sue nominates, Lee nominates me.
You want us to vote? Or somebody can decline or blood.
Blood. The vote for Sue.
Was that a second?
Yep.
No, you can't second that because you can't second that because
I voted.
you nominated him.
You drop off. Yeah. Talking about.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, decline. What happened? I don't know what happens wrong. I don't know what happens. Do you?
You have to vote.
Okay, you guys vote.
You say all in favor.
What's that?
You say all in favor. People who are in favor, raise their hands.
Okay, all in favor?
You're not voting?
I decline for me.
Who are you voting for?
You?
But you didn't vote.
There you go. So 2 yay,
One, nothing.
1
I'll abstain.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, now you run the meeting.
Can I have that?
Don't forget. The public participation policy. So you're us.
I'll have to turn on, say if it's turned on.
You might want to. Highly recommend.
As a few of you know, I work for C and Brown. I am the rewards and loyalty coordinator for 78 stores. When I run meetings and trainings, I use Robert's Rules of Order. That means for me that everyone has the right to participate in discussion if they wish. And before anyone can speak a second time, everyone has a chance to voice their discussion, their concerns or input.
And we will follow the.
Yeah, we would
The
like to
recently
follow.
adopted public participation policy.
Yeah, we'd like to follow the recently adopted public participation policy, which gives you 3 minutes to tell us what it is that you want to share with the select board. Every comment that comes in will be directed to the select board and in a very respectful manner, please. Please. Also, everyone has the right to know what's going on at all times, and urgent matters may interrupt the speaker, but otherwise, we want to hear what everyone has to say. Even if we don't agree, we want to hear what everyone has and what their feedback is or experiences. Okay, that's very important, because we're one community. Only one topic can be discussed at a time, and I know, oh, pretty squirrel, I am a person that's hard to stay on track. So we need to make sure that when we're discussing it, we don't talk about discussions 20 years ago, that we're going to talk about the topic that's at hand. We can still talk about something 20 years ago, but not at that discussion that we're talking about a certain topic, okay? So I might remind you, and you can remind me if I get off track. It would be really helpful if you would stand and identify yourself when you speak, so we can get accurate notes. And we can refer to you in further conversation, because you could be the expert in the room and we want to get back to you.
Okay, let's get on with the meeting,
What's that?
the agenda.
Oh. Has everyone got an agenda from the back of the room?
Thank you.
And what was on our, I think, Facebook page, town agenda, town of Hartford. Okay, the first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the June 15th Selectmen's Meeting. You have that one, Leanne?
What's that?
I'm asking Leanne, she's burrowing through packets, I just didn't know. Great. Any discussion, any changes? I know I've already read them.
I have to, I second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor of accepting the minutes from the last meeting? All right.
As amended.
On the minutes of last meeting, there is a small amendment. And so we accepted them, it's in our. It's in our minutes on page 4, and it's basically added assistant to the board, which is our election warden. We just typo, sorry. So, thank you so much. Leanne, is this okay to keep building on this pile over here? The next item is approved warrants 25 and 26, and the payroll warrants from June 21st, 28th, and July 5th, which I believe we've already done. I mean, in here. Is there a second on that?
I second it.
All in favor? All opposed, all good. All right, we're moving on to the RSU 10 report. Is there any input from our school board person or from Richard? Any new RSU information?
I did give you the. And they sent a copy of the annual bill to us, again, your packet.
Yep.
School's expensive. This is it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just want to share the,
The one,
I thought I had to start. Let's see. All right, I just want to review what the votes were cast for the last election for the school budget. The town of Buckfield, affirmative 149, negative 88. Town of Hanover, 18 versus -2. Town of Hartford, 47 and 24 against. Town of Mexico, 99, 20 against. Town of Roxbury, 15 and 3 against. Town of Rumford, 246 with 101 against. Town of Sumner, 26 and 17 against, which gives a total of 600 for the school budget, 255 against. So therefore it passed, and the school board all signed it unanimously. For those that didn't see a total record. Thank you, Leanne.
amazing. Not very many people voted.
We're gonna move on to the road report, which was emailed out earlier, and I'm happy to read that if someone wants me to. Town road report. Dated as of today, the roads damaged by the June 29th flash flooding were repaired that night and the next day. The road crew has begun cutting the beach parking area and the wood has been given to the Hartford Wood Bank. We will be getting started on road work shortly. A complaint was received from the Rileys on Darrington Road, and we plan to do some road work on the road, but we've always done very limited maintenance on the road to make it passable. Submitted by Ben McNeil. I want to take this moment to thank the road crews. They, during the flash flooding that nobody expected, they brought people home in dump trucks, in a loader, getting people back home or back out during unexpected flooding was a little scary, and the team, nobody asked, they just did it. So I want to, we're always willing to criticize. I want to make sure we give credit what credit is due. All right, road contracts, 23 and 24.
I don't have them, so. Have to see.
These are the old ones.
Get rid of the old ones. Get the new
Well, we're
ones.
not, yeah.
Yep. So we would like to table that. We have our old contracts. We don't have the new ones in front of us, and we'd like to move that to the next select board. Is that okay with the rest of the selectmen?
Yep, table it.
Okay, great. Next is the Berry Road complaint. We have a complaint on Berry Road. Someone has a damaged tire at the bottom of what we call Berry Hill. There's a part of the road that's broken apart.
Well, the road itself isn't broken. It looks to me like it's on the edge.
Yeah,
So it's actually caused by the neighbor across the street using his old bulldozer pushing snow across. And it's a relatively new road. And so it's dug apart and broken apart that road there. It's not at the very bottom of the hill. It's about, I don't know, 20 yards past the bottom of the hill.
you don't think that damage is done. So,
Franny? Yes, Lee.
Well, I'm sorry for the fella, but you know, there's damage on the edge of the road, but the whole rest of the road is passable. And when you have alloy wheels and low aspect ratio tires, I did once myself. And after I did a few bumps, I decided to go back to steel rims and taller tires. You know, rubber band tires don't give you, they give you great grip on the road, but they don't give you much
This is the
cushion when it comes to bumpy roads.
Yeah,
So,
well, I walk by it every day and it's about 6 inches at the edge of the road that's broken away. So it's not a lot. I don't
Think
know
we
how
hit
it goes
something.
straight it over here.
you know, I mean, you said he was getting pretty close to the edge of the road. Now, it could happen to any of us. I know it.
Guys, speak up louder so you're talking to everybody, not just yourselves, so everybody can hear what's going on.
So we're discussing what that piece of road looks like. We've got pictures of the tire. It's a brand new road on Berry Road. It's only a couple of years old and part of it is broken away due to someone pushing snow and with a bulldozer off this old bulldozer off the side of the road. It's not a lot of damage, but to the road. But we're just looking at the tire, trying to figure out how they damaged and scratched the side of the tire when it's not a deep hole or anything. It's broken away tar.
Well, the scuff mark might have been there before. We don't know that.
Right.
You know, that one is clearly scuffed. But you know, what can I say? My sense is that the town is nonetheless not liable for this.
Right. I agree.
You know, I'm sorry too, you know. But
So we're pricing on a new tire. We're discussing there's a lot of roads where the sides have washed away and we've got to be cautious to stay on the road. And the new alloy tires certainly are not very forgiving when you push your tires to the extreme. Yes, Al.
Oh, I thought the rule of thumb was if something happened to your car, the town has so many days to fix the problem.
right, the pothole law. I think they're supposed to get out and fix something within 24 hours, according to the state pothole law.
If you don't, then you're responsible for any damages. I think
If we've been notified.
you are able
Well, we're notified now, but that doesn't cover what happened before. I don't believe.
We've not received a complaint on this
to,
until now.
And you said that you have been walking past this on a daily basis, and so you know where the place is, and you know what it looks like, and it's about 6 inches,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
do.
not, you know where it is too.
Yeah. It's not a major hazard or anything unless they literally moved off the side of the road. There's plenty of road there to drive on.
You know. Hate to say it, but too bad, so sad.
I'm saying it's driver error.
I'm afraid so. I mean, it would be nice if every time we screwed something up, we could find somebody else to pay for our problems, but. there you
There's no
go.
ditch, it's all sand that leads right up to that or gravel, so. It's not like he hit a big pothole, there's no pothole there.
So no action.
So I move, we have no action,
We don't, I don't. you need to-
and we're not, we don't
can
feel
just
we're
say no
liable.
action.
No action.
You don't have to.
So we're not taking any action on this.
His bill was like $1,500 and something dollars.
Oh, he wanted all four tires and wheels, didn't he? Yeah.
Okay, we have a complaint coming from the Darrington Road,
They're still pretty.
and it came from Mr. Riley.
And I believe this has already been answered in the road report.
Yes,
There you go.
so the complaint has come in, They're asking for more work on the Darrington Road. We started a new fiscal year July 1st. And of course, Bim and his crew has had a lot of work to do with the flooding and the damage. But he does have an intention to work on that road and get it so it's more passable. So that has been answered, yeah? Yes, sir. Your name?
And I think I filed that complaint. And, I'm not really complaining much, I was trying to just bring attention to our road, which we've been at 30 years, and there's been no maintenance in that whole time. And the bids are very nice, you know, so we're just asking that Darrington Road be put on some type of maintenance schedule and go out for standards that are similar to other roads in Parkford or the state. I know, you know, regulations and standards. You know, how can we met on Darrington Road? And the second part is that we all know that the shot out for regular maintenance, and my contention is that if the summer maintenance was maintained, then that number wouldn't be quite as high. Compensation 70,000 wouldn't be quite as high, and I think that that's part of the problem. For some reason, it's not looked at. This is 3 months of the commissioners not been doing such a great job with the conditions plan. I agree with you on that. But I would just like to see something more regular on that.
So
Yeah. Kathy?
I was up there probably, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, maybe with FEMA, with BIM,
With FEMA,
Okay.
with emergency
It was-
management people.
and your road was one of them that was looked at. So we expect to have maybe some finances coming back with that. Then it'll be on your road,
I
one of
know,
your roads.
I also know that I spoke with Bim this morning and he was talking about culvert, replacing a culvert, a big culvert on there that's damaged and.
I would like to invite you all up there, so we road, see what I, there's 70,000 dollars we've got. I'd like to see what that's all about.
Yeah.
And where it's winter maintenance, you know, the summer maintenance, where's the difference? Why is it not going to? That's why we've done nothing. Because of that number.
So, I want to remind the people in this room, can everyone hear me? That this road has been on winter maintenance for more than 5 decades, over 50.
Closed to winter. months.
Closed to winter maintenance for more than 50 years, 5 decades. We now have people living on this road. We certainly care about our people, and we're gonna work to strive to get it to a better passable way. In the past, nobody's been out there, and so it's been just minimal maintenance because it's just been a summer maintained road, which was an old dirt road that led to nowhere. So I know that BIM's got plans. Kathy's went out there with either MEMA or FEMA, which is the Emergency Management Group, for funding. And of course, it just had more damage with the recent rains. So hopefully
We
when
have another one.
there will be another FEMA visit to that road again.
Hi, my name is Claire. We have been going up that road year round for 31 years. We're up here a lot the last 5 years, maybe even more than we are in Massachusetts. Jeff's lived there for 7 years. Look, not just a road, dirt road in the woods. That's what it looks like. But that's because people have just sort of. But we also have let anybody that's ever asked in 31 years come up to our property, pick apples, walk across to access 1,000 acres. That's all right. That is not anybody. It just feels like it's not amazing. It's sort of targeted as a road that puts a little bit of dirt road with it, it's beautiful. It's not true. I just want to say, we're going to be retiring full time this year in that house. At our age, you know, for all these years, we haven't worried about it, but at our age, we should be a little more realistic about, you know, safety.
Thank you.
Yeah, you said meeting's gonna be looking at, is that right, Kathy?
And what is your name?
Richard Pratt.
Thank you, Richard.
What, Ricky?
You said Peter was gonna go look at that road, that's right?
We've already been up there.
Right, so Peter's gonna let you know if they're gonna put money toward that road.
So when they get, if let's say FEMA says they get $10,000.
So
They're
that
gonna make sure that
so that would-
10,000 only gets spent there.
right, then that would go into that road.
Oh, yeah, that's how it works.
Get the money to spend it out.
No, they've got all the roads all separated out.
So you're gonna be able to tell them, FEMA allowed you so much money, we're gonna spend this much money on that. So they know.
Correct.
That's how it works.
Yes, sir.
Just Logan, for the going down the road, so. Is there a FEMA report?
We should be hearing back from them.
Okay, so that would explain what they would do.
Yeah, they went up there and we took pictures and measured everything out and
Well, since you were there, the road washed up again pretty bad,
oh, this last storm,
the last storm, the last
yeah,
3 big storms, it's washed out. And it's gonna continue to wash out because the road's not crowned. It's been ditched. It's been ditched, the ditches are there, they cleaned the ditches. But if the road isn't crowned, then it's not gonna do any good, the road's just gonna keep washing out all that gravel. And the money being spent with gravel is just being tossed.
Going out in the woods.
Get it done right.
yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions on,
Any more questions on the Darrington Road? Next complaint is the Sampson complaint, and that is from Julia Sampson. Is she here tonight?
Does not appear to be.
So this is at 10 Ricker Hill Road. It's a complaint regarding ditching and the way the water runs off that road down through her property, and has been doing so for a very long time. We did replace that ditch a few years ago. I mean, that culvert, and did some ditch work, and with the heavy rains, it's caused much damage up and down the road as well as on her property. How much of this should I review?
Ladies, not all of it. I would say, just, I would be brief about it and say that what the problem is and that, we'll have to look into this on.
Yep.
Honest to God, this meeting's been long, so
I know.
brief about most of this.
So this complaint is, basically, we've had these very heavy rainstorms. Not to minimize the problems on her property with the major water damage. Her property is going downhill. This is a report that talks about the volume of water.
Her property is on a downhill slope.
On a
You
downhill
did say,
slope, yeah.
right?
And so we replaced a culvert that's been there for years and years. And with the heavy rainstorms, it's caused water damage as it has to many other folks. So this is the report discussing that, and also looking for the town to participate in some cost of making some changes.
we have changes we can do.
Right, well,
Right.
of course, she's still concerned about the culvert. She thinks she wants to have the culvert that runs under the driveway at 169, same as should have been lowered to the same height to capture and divert 50% of the runoff. Now, these are the same people who, during the May 1st flood that we had a flash flood on May 1st, and we probably all remember some damage from that. And in that particular case, there was a piece of circular plywood that had been cut to fit and stapled over the culvert with industrial staples. This is the same.
Which caused the
same
neighbor's
problem.
driveway to wash out. This is the same group, same people.
We had the
For
same,
what it's worth.
we had the same problem in 06. Maybe Dave can remember, because he was on the select board then. And since then, she went and she dug her own ditch. And the ditch is probably 3 feet deep. So that storm, when she first complained, I rode up there. And I see where they had plugged the culvert off. That washed the driveway out across the road from her. And I asked her who plugged the culvert off, and she wouldn't admit to it. But a friend did. So I asked him, "You've got to unplug this culvert. And from here on out, don't be doing this again." So meanwhile, while he is unplugging the culvert, I walk down through beside her ditch to watch the waters that coming down through to see what it's doing. And it was handling the water okay. I mean, the water was running down through there like you can't imagine, and her ditch was handling it okay. So her beef is, I guess, is that she claims she's getting in her 60s and she don't want to have to keep checking things to make sure nothing's being plugged and so forth. But we'll go from here and see what happens.
There is a large farm pond, like a retaining pond up on the other side of the road from an old farm. And when that floods, everything comes up and more water runs through. There's a natural runway that comes down through and goes under the road. Some goes down Ricker Road, but most of it goes straight across downhill because of gravity. And with these heavy rains, gravity moves that water pretty fast. So, any feedback on that? All right, we're gonna move on to the next, which is the BRIC grants, called BRIC grants. And this is about our meetings with NEMA and looking at funding coming into Maine Emergency Management. They're looking at the town, what the town needs to know now, which is proof that the town of Hartford is an impoverished community, to decide whether engineering and other things can be done to help change the water flow. Also looking at a what they call a UEI number that replaces our DUNS number so that the town can be reported fiscally the way they want, so we can qualify for more grants. And this was done by Jeff Stern, watershed specialist. We've done a lot of jobs with him, a lot of runoff projects with him.
He's helped us a lot.
He's helped us a lot. So we're working on more ways to improve our roadsides and the way the water is flowing.
Right. For what it's worth, BRIC stands for Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. And resilient infrastructure, it seems, would help us a lot with these intense rain events.
So we're gonna, yeah, Leanne.
Make a decision on this. I mean, he's asking you questions. It's for the guiding road.
What the town needs to do are the following. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure that we can provide proof that Hartford is an impoverished community. When I first took this job, I went to workshops to learn how to apply for what was the grant, the block grants that were available at the time, and Hartford did not qualify for block grants. We would have at that time qualified for planning grants.
Right.
But we would not qualify for the block grants because we were not 51% low to moderate income. I'm not sure that, I mean, I'm sure we're all feeling poorer now, but I'm not sure that overall our community is actually poorer than we were 20 years ago. So I'm not sure we could prove that.
We have to show that the median income is less than 80% of the national average. So that's going to be a tough thing to prove. It's also asking us to do the design, engineering, and permitting on our own. Or apply for a brick project scoping grant,
Well, so,
which would do that.
I think that would be what we'd have to, it's probably a lot like the old planning grants.
Yeah, like we've done
I
before.
think that's probably about what we could do, because, what I remember from many years ago with the block grants is that we could have conducted our own income survey of all our residents to determine whether we were 51% low to moderate income, but we were reluctant to do so at that time. I suspect we're probably still reluctant to go around and ask everybody how much they're making.
We can go by the census.
I don't know, I've never been asked. I don't know. Do you think
Do we have the town stats for the census?
Very available online.
Oh, why don't we look at that and see where we stand there?
try it?
Otherwise, I would say option number 2. So the town would do the design and engineering and permitting on its own. Or we apply for the separate brick project grant, which,
Project scoping grants.
yeah,
But
yes, if the census information for income is available, we can use that. That would be acceptable since it's federal.
So I'll get that together.
Right.
Should I table it for next
Yeah.
meeting?
I'd like to table this to the next meeting so we can keep moving forward. We'll look at the census information for income.
Good
And then if
idea.
not, we'll look at applying for a brick project scoping grant to get some engineering paid for. Sound okay? All right, the next item on the agenda is the constable report, which I'll read out. Does everyone have one? No? Yes? Constable report through 7/6. He's placed 21 warning letters on vehicles parked at the town beach parking area. The warning letter states that they do not have a beach pass. They're gonna be required to have one. It's the first step in them then being fined if they come again and without a beach permit. And then if they show up again without a beach permit and being fined, we will tow their car. Everyone understand that process? Okay. Also attended 2 meetings discussing road use of ATVs. Our constable did 1 annual town meeting and 2 selectmen's meetings. That's what Mr. Ellsman did last month. Sounds like a busy month. And that is his report. Thank you, Steve.
Last question,
Absolutely. And your name again?
Aaron, what's the fine for the beach permit?
I think the first fine's 25. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the first fine is 25.
And do you need a permit for every vehicle you have?
Correct.
How-
$15 for everybody in the vehicle. If you can stuff 20 people in it, have at it.
So if you have 4 vehicles, you can buy a beach pass for every vehicle.
You don't. You can bring the vehicle with the beach pass to the beach.
I don't have it. Is it, you hang it from here, stick on it?
Yeah.
It's actually a sticker.
Where they can see it,
How are you gonna bring it?
have it on your dash where
Don't stick it?
anyone can see it.
We can do it anyone we want.
Well, actually,
No,
no,
because
they
it's
have.
tied So it's tied to your license plate number. When you get it from the town office, we know it's tied to that vehicle. If you have a huge family and you're not gonna take that vehicle to the beach, you wanna take a different vehicle, then you need to have another pass.
You need
And a
to-
pass is $15 for the whole car.
You got 2
For the-
vehicles, ATV, you need to pass. all-
If you're gonna bring all 3 to the beach.
Or you need to stick it with- it's tied, if you have one pass, you just tie your license plate to that one.
Correct. Yeah. And we've made lots of improvements to the beach and we're spending the money from those passes. It's designated to that beach. We can do new roping, improving. We have more cleanup work going on at the beach, the outhouse, swim lessons. It helps support all the things we're doing at the beach. So, which, by the way, if anybody wants to volunteer and help we're happy to have you do clean up or whatever, but the parking lot, which is limited right now, is gonna be getting bigger, so. But a parking permit's important because we've had many issues with out-of-towners using our town beach, and our agreement with the Pine Shores folks and the town beach says you need to be a Hartford resident. If you want to bring a guest, you can come and get a guest pass. You can buy it for a day, or you can buy it for a week. $5 a day, $10 for the week. And that pass goes in your guest car. Yes, sir.
So just for example, I was sitting on there 2 days ago, there was a Massachusetts vehicle, BMW
Could you stand, Steve?
SUV, and they had 2 jet skis in our lake. Well, they had the trailer off the SUV, parked like this, taking out 3 parking spots. And they had no sticker or anything, I went down and had the jet ski on, up on the beach. And going down, where they went, but you want to swear to use the parking lot. Not like that. You know, we'll reach back, you know, that's all we're gonna do.
And so how did that go?
But it's good, and you know, told them, you know, getting paid crosses the way you can go over there and unload the jet ski that we did and picked up the kids and hang on the other side and park over there to that boat ramp and kind of do that. You know, but
And he departed.
no problem.
So we don't allow motorized vehicles in the beach area, coming up on the beach because of the swimmers. It's been a rule in place for a long time. So when they bring those boats in and there could be swimmers in there, it's a big risk. We don't have a lifeguard. So it's been a rule that's been on our books for a long time,
Like since forever,
like since forever. Like,
in beach gyms.
all right, the CEO report, and I know we got that early because that Scott was so fast. We got an email to us this week. Let's see if I can pull that right up. Wow. Did everyone get a copy? I believe there's a copy at the door too of the CEO report. Yes, no, maybe so. So just to summarize, we served 2 different, Scott served 2 different, notices out to people that were, breaking our ordinance law for multiple vehicles unregistered in a junkyard format. And so 2 different groups were served with those papers this week, last week. Yes,
April 6th. Oh, you're
no,
talking.
no, no, June 28th.
You're talking about the other ones.
Yeah.
huh?
So those got sent out, one's on Berry Road and one is on Camp, no,
Careful.
Jordan Road. Yeah. Also received a letter to whom it may concern and attention to the CEO in complaint about excavation with a payloader on Canton Lake. That may or may not be permitted, so I know that Scott's looking into that. That's the one on Jordan Road that you already sent the information to. And then a possible shoreland zoning violation that on Little Bear. And Scott has already addressed that to that person on Little Bear, because when you're in the shoreline area, you have to file permits. And through our CEO or code enforcement officer. So. Right. And I think that is it.
Kathleen. said so.
What's that? Yes, Kathleen.
Yes, Kathleen Terrio. I'd like to address the junkyard. I previously brought this up at another meeting. We have several people, it's been 21 years, they've had a junkyard and they don't pay a permit fee. So 21 years, and one of them is saying that she's a hobbyist, so she can collect junkyard cars in her property that. And a hobbyist is someone who displays them. And takes care of them, organizes them, not just throw them all around the yard, that's a whole different thing between a hobbyist and a junkyard. And I think those fees need to be collected, because you're talking about the gentleman down right there on Main Street. For one, I mean, he's got that junk in the road at this point. And there are more junkyards that are on that permit thing, because there are people right here that have how many cars, so the code enforcement officer isn't really enforcing all codes. The 21 years at $50 a year is $1,050 per person, and there's 3 of them that are in violation. 3, that's $3,150 that us taxpayers aren't getting, because they're not collecting them. And I think these fees need to be collected.
Yes, Al.
I think, you guys have been beating this around for a long time. I think letters should go out to everybody. There's a few other issues, like up by the salt shed. The junkyard going on there right now, they're actually, this time when dump trucks and taking them up and putting them into dump trucks to take them away. So there's actually a junkyard right up there. And I don't want to say who it is, but I don't know why all these people get special treatment when they're in the sun. If you can't get the people that are running the town to comply, how are you gonna get the other people to comply? I've been saying this now since Christmas. It's time to send these letters out and to make the other people, get the CEO and to get them to comply or serve them. We're all trying to make the town better, but you keep coming here time and time again and say the same things over and over again. I think what happens here, and everybody will agree with me, you try to wear people off so they don't come back. That's basically the way the town of Hartford has been run for years. We aggravate them enough to roll away and they'll come back and bother us. We're here to stay. I hope not. We have this stuff straightened out. How to go out. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Scott.
My name is Scott Wells, I'm the code enforcement officer. In the month of June, I received 2 written complaints about possible junkyard violations. I investigated both of those complaints. I contacted the homeowner and I'm working with them to come into compliance. I have no other written complaints about any other junkyard. CAC, the town office, Jay, complaint form, fill it out, sign it. I will investigate it.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, Kathleen.
The select board was aware of them not being in violation, they just didn't go forward, it got tabled, and that's what happens is every time things get brought up, they get tabled to the next meeting, and tabled until you forget about it. Well, our taxes are higher, and I think if we have little things like this that are collected, it would be helpful. I mean, there's more people, I mean, look at the one right across the street, why are they even inspecting these people? I mean, they've got more than 3 cars in their yard. 3 or more unregistered vehicles in a yard are considered a junkyard. Just so you all understand, 3 or more unregistered. In a car, it's a junkyard. And we have one within so many feet. This affects our groundwater. Okay, if these cars aren't fluids taken out of their vehicles,
Excuse me, I have my hand
Okay.
up.
Then,
She knows.
then that's going into our groundwater, and you're not gonna suck that back out once it's there. And with all this rain, guess what? That stuff is flowing everywhere. And you're checking those. I checked it out.
Thank you, Kathleen. I think Lenny has got something she'd like to share. on
Yes,
Zoom.
don't we have a process for submitting complaints and they get on the agenda? Why are we talking about this now? It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, it is.
It is, junkyard is on the agenda.
Yeah, but particular ones, right?
So Kathleen, maybe we could get those forms filled out so that Scott could review them and we can track that. Does that seem like a reasonable?
I don't see why the select board wasn't like this, because I think that that's, why should you just brush under the carpet? When one of the select board members is one of the new departments.
Excuse me, it was still my turn.
Yeah,
These are not on the agenda. The people need to submit complaints and get it on the agenda.
okay, so then thank you, Lenny.
You're welcome.
We had some follow-up with Mr. Harlow, and we unfortunately did not get a chance to go and all of us go and inspect the two properties we sent letters on. So I asked him not to attend this meeting, to attend the next select board meeting, which will give us a chance to, we've been really busy. I apologize, but to go and inspect the two properties that we sent letters out, and at the next select board meeting, we will address those two properties. So we're gonna move that to the next agenda.
And he's the only one that's in compliance, the only one out of all the junkyards, everybody's complaining about him, but he's the only one in compliance and paying his fee.
So we will be looking at those other two properties at the next select board meeting, and he'll be here.
He's had complaints.
Okay. Scott, LD 2003. Kathy and Lee. Under CEO report says LD.
Just handed it.
Oh,
I've been seeing him.
do we want to move that to the next meeting or? I'm not sure what LD 2003.
Well, in 2003, is the state legislative act to allow multiple single family homes on a lot designated as a one single family lot. It went into effect July 1st of this year. However, the towns of the Concord have until next July 1st to come up with an ordinance that will govern how that is applied to our town. If the town does not come up with an ordinance, the property owners can apply the state rules and move forward on their own. There's no town ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Joe Dollar. I think there's already something in there of a back lot. Where you can have a property on a back portion of your lot. I think.
So I know the state ordinance has got some rules that say that. But every town can either follow the state rule or make their own rules. And every year we ask the ordinance committee, whoever's on that, to specifically look at changing ordinances to match what the state has asked us to do. And so this will definitely be on that committee report. And we would love feedback from the community on what you think adhering to and what the state stuff is. Scott.
Why is it being blocked as a single family residence? This legislative action will allow a homeowner to have a total of 3 homes on that creative option. Town can govern how that is,
Or we can make our own rules.
or they can just satisfy and probably going to follow the state rules.
So you see, this could be quite
It's
a,
not allowed that you still cannot divide your creative lot. You can't go to what houses on the creators and then sell off to them. You're stuck with all the homes.
forever.
And if you're interested in serving on that ordinance committee, you just let me know.
I'm just thinking, that would be great if that family, y'all, we had 28.
Yeah.
Right, but this would apply even to a 3-acre lot.
Hey, the ACO report, do we have one? No?
We don't have an ACO. What is an ACO?
Animal control
control.
officer.
Planning board report. Did everyone get a chance to look at the planning board report? Because there's some important stuff in there. We have a development happening on Lower Bear Pond, Little Bear. No,
There is no planning board minutes.
there's no planning board minutes.
There's no planning board this time.
Okay. Well, I know that the planning board's got some things coming in and some developments happening on Little Bear. And those that are interested should attend those meetings or follow the minutes and share your thoughts, okay?
The next planning board meeting is on July 10th. That is Monday.
My birthday. Don't buy me presents. I'm gonna be 30. With experience. Just let you know. All right, do we have a fire warden report? I would like, as the new chair, to contact our folks like the fire wardens. I think that every month we should have some sort, one select board meeting or another, where they're telling us what they're doing, how many people applied for a fire permit, how many people were declined a fire permit. If there was a fire in the area, what fire department that we're paying for covered it. I just think that we should know, because we are paying them. So that's something I'd like to put out there and ask each one of these groups to, or folks to just let us know once a month, even if it's handwritten, like Steve Ellsman did, we don't care. Just tell us what's going on in their own town. All right, treasurer's report. Do we have any money? Whew. All right.
I told some of you. I told Northeast Bank to transfer most of the money over on July 1st, but they did it on June 30th. And I just got the statement, we made $152 in interest for that one day.
Yay.
Way more than.
Did you guys hear Leanne?
Did that, what I'd like to know is, did that, having it happen on June 30th versus July 1st, is that a problem in terms of fiscal year?
It's still in the bank. I just have some in Andrew because I still have checks to clear and I don't have the checks yet.
Sure.
So in our previous meeting, we've changed our banking relationships over to Northeast Bank. They gave us a great big package, a lot more interest. We were supposed to change over July 1st. Leanne's an overachiever. She sent everything over there and they actually moved us on June 30th. And then that one day we made $152 in interest. Win-win. Nice job. And Leanne's been running around to the bank on her days off, trying to do banking with Andrew Scoggin. And the Northeast Bank's gonna be sending a courier to the office to pick up stuff for free. So it saves her time on her days off. It means that we've got a secure way to move money and again, win-win, right?
Steve's questions on there. Anyone?
All right, so the FEMA reserve fund for road
They have
expense overage.
We have a reserve fund with FEMA money from like 2005. I can't remember that one year. And I asked FEMA when they came, if we could.
Don't you
send that
agree?
to get all the repair back. They said yes. We are over in the roads budget because of the storms.
Of course we are, yeah.
So in the back of your expense report, it shows the balances of the summer road reserve, the FEMA reserve. I think I paid most of the bills except for the bill we picked up. I haven't gotten that one Yeah, so I don't.
We have not received the bulky waste.
I asked for it, but. So I don't need to touch the contingency, because.
Yeah,
But I would need permission to use the FEMA money and road reserve to cover that over.
I make a motion that we use the old 2005 FEMA money to cover the current road expenses from all the storms. Yep.
wow.
See, often we go ahead and we spend our money from our current budget to fix and storm repair, because you guys probably haven't noticed, but we've had some rain. And so,
Was there a second? Sorry.
yeah,
I second it.
and so
You're supposed to say all in favor once
Oh.
something happens.
all in
We can
favor,
have more discussion.
all in favor of spending the 2005 FEMA money. So when we have that, when the money comes in, we've already spent other monies. So it's been sitting in a reserve, so it's a great opportunity for us to move that money forward to fix stuff now, because we'll get the FEMA money whenever they feel like paying us for the next FEMA.
So. That's not quite enough to cover it. Do you want to use the rest of the road reserve? I'm not in here.
Well, road reserve is just that, is it?
Yeah.
not?
So I just need permission to.
Yeah,
I move that we take the balance of the funds from road reserve.
and I second that. All in favor?
That's right. Good going.
I'll get it.
Getting you.
Just got it. All right, salt shed savings for salt shed door repair. And Susie sells seashells by the seashore.
So Jim had the door replaced, it was $1,639,
The salt shed door needed to be replaced, rusted, big mess, not closing,
not replaced.
repaired. Yeah,
And we had $1,000 in the budget. I need permission to take the remainder from this salt shed savings to cover, it leaves like $30 in the table.
Yeah, I move we use the salt sheds account to pay for the salt shed repairs.
yes, I second that. All in favor? Okay,
Well, that was quick and easy.
so the legal reserve use for an overage, we've had some legal fees, have we not, Leanne? And we're over.
Yeah, but we have a reserve.
Will that cover what we are over?
Yep, it's in the back, all the balances. You have $38,000 in legal.
And
Which is more than enough.
so I move that we use our legal reserve to cover the overage for legal services.
I second it.
All in favor? Right. So disbursement for payroll. How about we not pay anybody this week? Look how money we'll save. Okay, let's not use that.
So you would just have to choose one of you or any one of you to be able to approve payroll out of the meeting.
So at this point, Lee and I both work outside of this job. So I would recommend that Kathy be able to be
No,
authorized to sign.
I think any municipal officer should be able to, because if Kathy is
Right.
not
It's fine.
available. So.
Can
I
we do
think
that?
Yes, is B, option B is any one of the municipal officers named above acting alone may review, approve and sign such warrants.
Okay.
Huh? Option B.
So I make
It's
a
what we've
motion
been
that we
using
do
for
option
some
B.
time now, and
Yeah.
I'd like to recommend we continue to use that.
Okay, all in favor, oh,
I
second that,
second it.
option B. Kathy seconded.
It's like ordering
Lee
up a
first
Chinese
did.
menu, you decide what you want, and you just tell the waitress the letter.
The letter, that's right. I'll take a number 2. All in favor? All right, disbursement for state fees, Leanne.
The same thing for motor vehicle reports and only.
I move we approve option B for disbursement of treasurer's warrants for state fees.
I second that. So option B means any one of the 3 of us can sign off on the warrants. We can pay the state their money or pay for payroll. All in favor?
And you know why this is so important?
Well, because they
There was
want
a-
the money.
yeah,
and we
I
need to
think they
see.
want their money. There was a time when I was the only person on the select board. And because I was the only person on the select board, I was unable to pay payroll. I was unable to pay for the school. I was unable to pay any of our bills. I called the school and we told them that we were good for it, to consider it to be accounts receivable. And some other of our various creditors,
Wow,
but
That's
that is
crazy.
how I held the town together. At that
can't
time,
imagine.
yeah.
All right, so we're
Somebody
gonna
else might
go
quit.
to the cemetery committee report. Do we have anyone here from the cemetery committee? And what is your name, sir?
We had a workshop on June 29 for Barrington, and we had 4 members and 2 volunteers. Thompson, I'm sorry, yeah, thank you for correcting. Thompson on Rodney Road. We stricken the 15 stones and cleaned 14. And we have 4 more. We cut a bunch of branches all around the perimeter and trees for the down. And as always, we welcome volunteers when we have another workshop, we'll send the word out. But that's the latest that we worked on since the last meeting. Thanks.
And Lee,
I have a question for Mr. Violet.
Yes,
When are you going to have your cemetery stones cleaning workshop?
we have one at Thompson. We did a cleaning workshop there.
Oh, because I
On June
remember,
29.
I remember at the last meeting, you said you were planning to do this, but of course, I never heard when that was.
June 29th one. It was sent out to all select board members and committee members.
Oh, of course.
So we will schedule another one and make sure that you are included if you did it as last one. I thought you would.
I think it would be cool if we had the opportunity to buy products so that we could go clean our family stones after learning how to clean. Or at least a recommendation of what we could purchase.
Yeah, I can give you the name of the product and where we purchased it.
Thank you. Kathleen,
My husband and I would like to help volunteer with the cemetery committee. We went ATV and we stopped at a cemetery in Roxbury up in that way. We stopped to just go through it and see it. And we want to know.
Okay, so glad to have you.
Yeah.
Make sure that we contact.
We actually went and cleaned his grandparents' stone, got it all cleaned up, because it took all that. I call it barnacle and stuff, all over and stuff, so we love to help out.
More than likely, we'll be going back to Thompson Cemetery because we have 4 stones there that need to be straightened, we'll be using the tripod, and we have more cleaning to do, and then that cemetery will be looking pretty good shape with 1 more day to work it out.
This one was taken care of, which is sad. Yeah, we want to help. You can let us know when the next.
yes,
I'm Richard Gara, which you know, I'm the one that's gonna be fixing the cemetery down here on Route 219 for 140.
thank
Free
you.
to the town, we're still, only thing holding us now is that paper.
I'm working on, I've had a bajillion things, but I am on it.
Yeah. I'll
That
get
paper?
that done as soon as she gets that.
That paper.
Thanks, Ricky.
Thank you, Richard. You're the best.
David Terry, I was just wondering how to schedule the event. It was probably a dynamic thing.
Well, we can't plan too far ahead. Last Thursday, when we had the workshop, we worked in the rain, because it predicted that we had a clear morning. But that didn't happen. But, so, yes,
Probably a good time to be.
we don't want to be in riding rains, but, you know. With as much rain as we had, it's difficult, usually 3 or 4 days in them, but I can see it was better, winter.
You posted somewhere, but
Well, we sent out emails to,
mailing list.
mailing list, we can include the mailing list, all Hockford residents are on the mailing list. Yeah, that would
Just
be-
remind me, we can talk about it later then.
And we'll also, you know, have always select what committee members.
Great. Any other comments? Thank you so much for your report. All right. Calendar reminders. Planning board meeting, as Lee mentioned, is July 10th at 7 o'clock right here. Ordinance committee is July 19th, 7 o'clock right here. We do not have a date yet for the solid waste committee meeting. Unfinished business, cemetery inspections. I did some cemetery inspections and drove through. I know that Ken and Steve's been working on it too. I had a couple of talks with Isaac, who's had our mowing contract. We have a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, Isaac's not had a lot of guidance, and the cemeteries have gotten smaller and smaller. So we're really hoping, I mean, I pushed to get as much done as I could by the end of this contract. But always looking, we're gonna be looking for more volunteers to help clear back out to the rock walls. So that once we clear that, we can get a Steve and mowing more. And be able to clear some of those trees are like this big. You can't mow over those. So it's gonna take a lot of work, but if anybody wants to volunteer or help clear these cemeteries, I know Steve and Ken are gonna work together to get the boundaries out. All right. ATVs on town roads.
Um,
Oh,
we went through the ordinance list, you know?
oh,
It was above
Waste
the
committee.
fire.
where is that? I missed it. There it is. No, that's the ordinance
No,
committee.
we haven't done it.
Ordinance list. I would like to go back to number 7 on the agenda. I totally missed a item, which is the ordinance list. Every year, the select board gives the ordinance committee a list of things to focus on. One, obviously, is what Scott mentioned, which is the ordinance being passed out by the
Well,
state.
we were just given this with 3 on there, and I would like to suggest an amendment to that. The LD 2003 be put
Added.
down as number 1, and the others.
Well, this is last year.
This is
Yeah.
right. This is last year's. So in any case, I'd like to suggest that since none of these ones that we asked for last year ended up happening, I'd like to suggest this order to have the LD 2003 ordinance, should we decide that that's how we want to go. I think we need to really think well about it, whether we want to have our own ordinance or whether we want to let the state statute be our guide. But I'd like to suggest we put that on there, and my suggestion is that we prioritize that one.
Solid waste ordinance, did we not have our solid waste committee and update when people can put their solid waste out for bulky
Do we have
waste?
an ordinance on that?
We already have it.
We already have it.
Okay, well,
So it would be the
Scratch
no
it if you
spray
want.
and the next one.
so LD 2003, no spray and a community standards ordinance. So that we can all get our yards in order and mow our lawns and don't hang out our wash and stuff like that.
I would say last year we called it messy yard, but we will come up with some sort of standard so that we can look at
Pardon me?
old
Thank you.
junkyards
Professional.
and anyone that's not meeting the ordinances. As Scott has already said, if we can set up a standard where we can fill out our complaint forms so that he can then target his efforts.
I got a question on that. Have there really been some of these places that we mentioned? Have there really been some of these junkyards that we mentioned? I have no clue what you're talking about, where they are located. What you have to understand is that my powers are limited, but my inspection is restricted to what they call a rescue inspection. Well, I can't say that my own children doesn't exist. Unless I have a witness on complaint, then I can go investigate further. Now, if it's allowed to complain, you want to make sure that the information is accurate. You're not just throwing somebody on the bus, and follow phone calls, there's a bunch of junk cars, they're in violation. If I go and I find out that they're registered, then that's a false report. But To answer the question, no, because we were told that you were going out talking to some people. That we have. You know, I'm not these reports, I talked to people that I received from them. That's it.
Lenny, okay. Next on, Lenny has something she'd like to share on this topic.
I just wanted to offer, in case you're interested, that when I was on the ordinance committee, I did a great deal of research into messy yards, and there were no ordinances of that nature. They were called community standards. Wait, that's not the exact name. Property maintenance standards. And they had to do with health and safety, which most ordinances do. You know, such as not attracting vermin or those kinds of things, causing nuisances, like beautiful nuisances or ugly nuisances. Private ponds are sometimes deemed to be beautiful nuisances and they have to be closed down. But anyway, that is what I found in my research, and I just offer that to you for what it's worth.
Yes,
Thanks, Lenny.
Leanne.
Do you want to research the LD 2003 before you give it to them to work on? Because you said you may want to go by the law or you may want to.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
You have a question from the audience?
Yes, sir.
It's, that LD 2003 is given the choice. I think it should always be a local ordinance versus letting the state do whatever they want. So if you're looking into that, I mean, that would be great.
But the town can only make it certain.
Right.
You want it.
Well, strip that.
Well,
I think,
if you already live in a subdivision with a homeowners association, you've already got to.
Yeah.
You've already got to live with your homeowners association, right?
I think some research needs to be seen on what the state standard is, and then we can guide the ordinance committee on where we think they should be going with that. So I agree, I think that we should be doing something that's right for our community. I live on a 50 by 150 foot lot. It'd be hard to build another home on that, next to the water. So,
So do you want to table this until you do that research or?
I think we need to send this list forward to the ordinance committee, but I think we need to research LD
When is the ordinance committee meeting again?
in a couple weeks.
So in other words, we will be having a meeting before that.
We will
happens,
have a meeting before that.
So we could table this.
Okay.
Without any undue complications.
Okay, great. All right, we're gonna move on to ATV on town roads. And I would like,
You didn't call for a session either,
oh,
if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sorry, I'm a
Oh,
newbie.
that's unfinished. No, I guess that's, sorry, that's before. the
Unfinished
business.
Oh,
business.
okay, we're still on unfinished business. And we've already got, pardon me?
Drag it on.
Okay, ATV on town roads, and I would like to call on Dave, who's been working on the committee that was set up.
Dave Terrio had a committee, formed to investigate any issues that people have about coexisting with automobiles basically on the road, anyone don't concerned about 25-mile-an-hour zones. I don't know if you read any of the research on kind of pocket page, but you know, it's kind of concerned, and one of the press officers, but some of them are, oh, I don't know how you call it, not well thought of. But I went on the state statute, and I looked up everything about liability, if you do run into a car. I have all that documentation, and I won't bore you with it.
Oh, please.
Basically, it's just about the same as hitting another vehicle. You can call the sheriff, and it's a two-vehicle collision. And there was some question about liability between like children. And obviously the parents or whoever owns the ATV is also liable for that. How you collect the money, you're gonna have to probably fight that out, so the issue, I guess. So we have coexisted in many towns in Maine, and we're finally getting on board with connecting the road trail. Basically gonna be a hub. We're gonna be a north, south, east, west, with our own trails, if we are developing. Dave Dalton, back in my house, we hopefully get the desert road, and then they don't want that. It's probably and I'm not a local around here, I'm being over the woods developer. We got a lot of people that are, I know we got some, you're local, and they're coming to it, they're looking into it. And the part we get from, the old county go Fuller Road. And the Camp Road, and then north. Was, 3 acres, that was the Thompson Cemetery, we were talking about, yeah. So we'd like to try to get that, way, maybe get through, or at least up to Darrington to, the Hayward residents, and then maybe in southern that way, back road. But initially, we're gonna have a problem with this one, because it's gonna be a dynamic thing, just like phone. When you do that phone, you'll understand that property gets sold, after the roof gets shut down, water damage, like over in the sand. Eight years over there for a while. So it's gonna be constantly changing.
Because he's gonna
And we're gonna
report.
post access from signs, direct traffic, because we're gonna whole part with Sumner. And we're gonna be able to connect to there, and from there, you know, need. And the beautiful thing about that is, once we become part of a network of systems, the gaming was already controlled. So now we're gonna have that whole authority, the empowerment of gaming was, you don't even have to follow, they have to check you out every now and then, so. If we can get it all the way over to the town beach, the man, we go down and police what's going on down there, without having to be called, to the part of routine members, which is a win-win situation. So on this committee, most of it's individual work, and we didn't really get too far with the group. We had one meeting, and Kathy Lowe was pretty much presiding. I'll talk with them too, because this is who I have to sell it to. I understand that. You understand it's not a vote, it's not a popular vote. It's if you decide not to do it, we're just asking that. We think it's a good thing to do. It's the evolution of society, actually. It's the up and coming thing. So my recommendation, and I'm not even the chairman. I don't know, do we have any other chair people in here? Because there was a few of us. Anybody else on the committee that was appointed? So maybe you can speak after. So my recommendation as a single, I wish that you passed. I don't think there's an issue.
Work with any other clubs or have a plan to organize, have a more formalized setting?
Yes, Mark Gianelli from the Sumner Foothills. We're gonna partner with them.
Mark who?
Gianelli,
Gino, he's from the summer group?
yes, he's the CEO of that club. And in speaking with him, he presently has enough signs to populate what we need to do pronto.
So we wouldn't have to buy signs, they have signs?
Yeah.
Yeah, but someone's handed up.
And we've got this one right here who's on the committee, which is still part of the committee report. And what's your name? I'm sorry.
Jessica Brooks.
Oh, hi, Jessica.
Hi. I think that we all did kind of set our look on certain aspects. Everybody in the committee kind of took their part and kind of got as much information together as we could. To come back with you and just kind of say, like, at this point, there's no liability to the town.
Can't hear you. Can you come up here a little?
Okay.
So there's no liability?
There's no liability to the town at this point. If you're opening secondary roads, there's zero liability to the town. It's allowing people of all disabilities, ages, I could go on to be able to get to their fishing pole, but they haven't been able to. My husband and I brought out a man, 74 years old, a few weeks ago. And he hadn't been out on these trails in 25 years. Because he can't. I mean, he's got no means at this point of getting out there. And to see him out there in these woods that he grew up in, snowmobiling and so forth, he was like a kid in a candy store. I mean, really, I think if you're not involved in the sport or the aspect of it, you do have a hard time kind of wrapping your head around why we want this so badly. But I think if you got out in the woods and actually experienced it, you have a whole nother idea of what this is all about. And we're not talking about accepting 16-year-olds racing up and down the roads. That's not acceptable. I mean, we want to do this in a controlled atmosphere and environment. And I think we all very much care about the residents and their concerns. And I think that, you know, we can address those concerns when and if there's an issue.
So it's this group recommended to just open every road and everybody be able to ride their ATVs up and down the roads, or are they going to a trail?
Well, I think that we need to get some trails in place, but as of right now, there is a trailhead, I believe, off of Stetson Road. I'm not sure if Sumner's opened up all of their roads yet, have they? So, I mean, Stetson Road,
Come down Stetson Road.
yeah, you come down Stetson Road, you're in Sumner, that's it.
Well,
You know.
you can go across Labrador Pond Road. I already know people that are
Right.
getting wood ready to put across that bridge that was discombobulated a bunch of years ago, so that would open you right up to,
Correct.
from there, you're gonna be able to go to Black Mountain.
As far as
Someone will let you do that?
they already have, so their roads are, their secondary roads are already open.
No, I'm at the bridge.
Oh, the bridge.
No, so the bridge, I know people told me already that they're already cutting wood from that bridge.
Someone okay with it?
I believe so. You okayed it?
You did?
Yes. There you go.
We still have someone on here.
And we have, I just try and go in order, and I believe we have someone on Zoom that wants to make a comment about this. Is it a committee member or is it a?
Lenny.
Lenny, I think. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
you ready?
Lenny.
You ready for me?
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question. I read a post and it talked about the gathering place would be at the Hartford Beach for parking. Could somebody clarify that? I mean, we already have a parking issue at the Hartford Beach. Somebody said the same way they did snowmobiles, that if there were trailers, they would park them there.
No,
Hold on, David,
Pardon?
is the beach going to be a park and ride for the
No.
ATV club? No,
no.
No.
okay, thank you.
But-
Where,
Okay.
okay, that was my question and I have a comment.
So no, the answer is no.
I am not opposed to people being able to ride on the side of the road. I, however, think it would be unwise to simply open all secondary roads. This is brand new, maybe one or two roads. And we need to get permission from the state for people, you know, it won't help people who don't live on secondary roads because they'd still have to travel on the state roads. I know Christine Muma told me that it wouldn't help her because she's too far from the railroad bed and would have to go too far up 140 or to Stetson Road.
You get to Stetson Road.
And I don't think that the intent was to open all the secondary roads because they're not trails. They need to be able to get to a trailhead. And
Right, but we only have one trailhead.
well, we've got a trailhead in Church Street. We have a trailhead downtown Hartford.
Right, but it's the same trail. Okay, trailheads. So yeah, you know, I've all along just been concerned about safety and, you know, people's feelings. There are a lot of people who, you know, have different feelings about this. And so that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Lenny. Yes, would you like to stand, please?
Yeah, same style. You mentioned Mark Gianelli, president of Summer's ATV Club, and I think at this point, what we're wanting is baby steps, you know, basically access to some of the town roads, which get us access to Sumner. Their trail system connects to Peru, connects to Mexico, or connects all over the place. And Mark Gianelli did due diligence just like this committee has done. And he looked into the liability for the town, he looked into what the sheriff's office had to say, all these things. And the one thing that stuck out in my mind was the sheriff's office, Oxford County Sheriff's Office, told him that it was about time Sumner got up with the times, because almost every town in Oxford County has some sort of ATV access. And they're for it, you know, and I think people's misconceptions are that people are gonna be racing up and down the road, and all of a sudden you're opening up a can of worms. I doubt they're gonna really see much of a difference. But to the ATV enthusiasts, Hartford would no longer be landlocked. If we could get down to Sumner, for instance, like I said, we can get to 8 other trail systems from there, from our homes. And later on, maybe we can work on Canton, because Canton has their trail system start right there at the Big Apple. But we have to trailer a mile and a half to get to it. So, you know, there was somebody said, oh, it'll tear up the roads. I don't think an ATV will tear up a road any worse than a car or a truck.
At
And
25 miles an hour.
right, and all of these access, they're posted to where, and in all these clubs, you get on any other websites, and they're very strict about, you know, they don't want ATVs racing up and down the road. But that's what the gaming ordinance and the sheriff's report, they can control that once the town decides to have ATV access. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to clarify,
And your name, please.
Dan was, just to clarify, on the road usage, it's really, what we're opening is trailhead to trailhead. In other words, you know, even though we're opening all the roads, that's for the guy that lives on that road needs to get to the trailhead. It's not gonna be marked as a trailer. It's not gonna be used as a trailer. Just for the guy that lives there and he wants to access. And as we develop new trails, we may be using more roads, but they're marked ATV trail.
So can I just make an example? So, I live on Garden Drive, which is a private road. So that doesn't mean that everyone in this room can go screaming down Garden Drive and back, because there's no trailhead. It's for me that lives on Garden Drive to be able to get out, to get to our trailhead on.
Absolutely. We don't want to we don't want people racing up and down the road, like you said.
I don't either. I maintain my road,
Even if
my
you
piece.
said no respectfully, it wasn't intent, that's not our intent. Our intent was to develop a trail system. And you may, in a lot of towns, you have to use a road to access the next trail. And that's.
Now, are you the Dan that is also organizing a lot of folks that want to set up new trails here in Hartford?
I'm working with some people that I know, long-time residents, that know the woods, and know the area better than I do. And they know the landowners, which I do to obtain these permissions to access the across property.
So, but it is the intent of the group to become part of the Sumner Club, yes?
Our
And
intent
have a Hartford Trail Master?
right now is we're all going to join the substance. That's what we're thinking, doing. As we get more acclimated with how the club works and everything, we may decide to go do it on our own, but we'll at least have some experience with the Summer Club, which is very successful, by the way. That president put that club in 5 members to over 6.
Hey, Mac is on.
So, can you explain to me, did they get any funding? No.
They, the trails, they have a guy from the state that comes over and measures them out. And for instance, they, I believe last year, we told them we got $8,000.
But they got
They
8
just,
grand.
they just got it out.
And they're getting more. Actually, they're getting even more.
So if we join them, when the Hartford Trails become a part of that,
Correct.
will we get funding to work on our trails?
Well, when we join, that's what I'm like to do this, but we're gonna have someone in this town. Probably someone that's better known than to be like a trail master. And so that we're well represented, and if someone's got a complaint town, they need to go to the court, or so we should be calling someone. We should call somebody.
Oh, a local person.
A local person.
Richard.
Mark is on.
Oh. I would like to take this opportunity to talk to Mark, who is the president of the Sumner ATV Club. And
Hello.
Mark, if you could, tell us about how your things work in your town.
Everything is working very well. I wish I could say it's 100%, but nothing is 100%. You have a few that have still called about some of the ATVs going too fast down the road. But I don't think that's any different than any regular traffic going down the road too fast. As far as the ATVs, they do leave, and this is studied, it's science, they leave a smaller carbon footprint on the roads than cars do. So if you're worried about economy situations, they don't leave the same footprint. They leave lesser of a footprint. Things have been very well. Our town just got $8,000 in state grant money to work on our trail system. We are closing in on 60 members strong. Bill Glass, I'm also on the budget committee in Sumner. Bill Glass was not a fan and did not want to have ATVs in. And at our last budget committee meeting on June 27th, Tuesday, after the meeting, he asked me to stay and he talked to me and he said, I got to tell you, people have been a lot more respectful and I see less traffic. He said, I didn't think it was going to work this well. And he is not a fan of ATVs, but he has seen control. Once you make something legal, then the state of Maine has a responsibility to also patrol areas that you mark as legal to ride their ATV. Think of it like a paper route or a mail route, right? Once you are on the map and register your secondary roads with the town, then the state has an obligation to come out and answer complaints and also be there to monitor. So once you have those secondary roads open, you are now opening yourself to the state and the state's patrol. They're much too busy to go to townships that do not have secondary roads or trail systems and work with those communities that, as they say, are behind the times. There's a lot of money in it for the state of Maine. As we all know around here, the snowmobile seasons are getting shorter and shorter, unfortunately. I'm an avid snowmobiler as well. The ATV for the state of Maine is bringing in a lot of revenue. So they're really standing behind the communities that are following suit and allowing access in their communities. It's worked very well. It's work. You got to work at it. It doesn't come easy. You got to keep working at it. You're going to get, like I said, you're going to get a few people that will complain here and there, but the positive feedback has been much greater than the negative feedback. So the scale is tipped very well in our favor. We're working with selectmen in Sumner very well. And we've all been very respectful of one another, regardless of our activities or hobbies that we choose to have, whether it's walking, hiking, cross-country skiing, whatever it may be. Everyone has a different take on what they enjoy. And ATVing is, it's very popular with the state of Maine. If you have any questions specifically, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
And are you, Mark, are you you're all on board with having Hartford be a part of the Sumner Trail System?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I can provide Hartford a way out from being landlocked and give them safe passage, I trust me, I'm going to be strict with them just as I am with our own people. Everyone has to obey the rules. You have to follow the rules. And as long as I see that Hartford is doing their part, then Sumner would take on working with you folks, not without a problem.
Thank you very much. I think we have another person on Zoom, Richard. Richard, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
We can.
Well, I was just wondering, two questions really. Has anybody found out whether the victim that was in the hospital from the car ATV accident over the weekend has recovered or not? Last I knew, he was in the hospital in critical condition. And my thought in going along with that is, if we allow unlimited ATVs up and down our town roads, how are the people in town going to feel the first time somebody gets killed or injured because the ATVs are ramming up and down the roads, along with all the other traffic that goes too fast, and all the semis and the cars and the business trucks and et cetera, et cetera. It won't be long before somebody gets hurt or killed. Thank you.
And be respectful. Thank you, Richard. We will be looking at that with our club members. This gentleman right here.
Yes.
Could you
Is there a ATV club that just got like $24,000? Which club was that?
We got $8,000 in state funding.
Right, but there was another club that got.
Rumford got like $24,000 in state funding. Yes.
All right, Kathleen.
The more trail systems you have in your town, not counting the road is gets to be how much they get for grants.
It goes by
I
miles.
sent I went to the town office to speak to Leanne. I don't know if she ever got any results, but there were 104 registered ATVs in Hartford, not counting people that have them that don't have them registered on their property. And I wanted to know where these ATVs were located in the town, so we could know as far as road access, where these people are coming from and where they need to go. But
I left a message with the state ATV in the 50 mile that they could be 30, and he never got out.
he's not coming back to me either.
And currently, how much money do we get from the state to maintain our ATV trail? Right now, we get nothing.
You don't have a tree. You don't have a club yet.
The club creates. It gets added into their 8,000 to help go back into. Would that go back into our trails or Sumner's trails?
Right now, the money that Sumner got obviously goes into the Sumner Trail System. And my understanding is your township is asking for help and support to figure out if this is something you want to do permanently. I know we're being voted in permanently. The vote is being called in this August. Once you create your own club and you have a trail system, because secondary roads do not count as a part of your trail system. The trails are what's in the woods. Trail heads and trail connectors are the other part. So with that said, until you become a club, there is no state or government funding for that.
But if our trails become part of your club, would you get reimbursement to help maintain these trails here?
No, but well, if you actually have a trail system that we can, so for example, we are at 21 miles right now. So let's say you had 10 miles of trail system. And if you had 10 miles of trail system.
Oh, he muted himself.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I muted myself. My dog is barking to get out. Let me just open the door for him real quick. Go.
So did he say that if we join this trail? Yeah, okay, based on the
So we
minutes.
got 2.5 miles of trail.
I'm back, I'm sorry. So you get X amount of dollars. It's put out in your package. So 0 to 10 miles is one amount and so on and so forth. The more miles you get, the more money the state gives you to support that trail system. Access roads, trailheads, park and rides do not count as part of the drivable system.
And Lee,
I have a question for you, Mark.
Sure.
I'm not hearing all that well, but did I understand you to say that the town roads do not count as part of the trail system?
They do not. They do not. What you'd be doing is unlandlocking your residents who are in that town and giving them access to get out to other systems at this point in time.
And do I understand correctly that part of the intent of an ATV club is to work with landowners? To build
Absolutely.
these trails?
Absolutely, 100%. You have to get a landowner permission form. That landowner permission form can be signed indefinite. It can be signed for 1 year. It can be signed for 10 years. And the landowner has the right at any point in time to say they want to withdraw that landowner permit.
all right, I think we have enough information. Excuse me, Al, was always behind you?
May I interrupt for a minute?
The vote, because we're beating a dead horse, we're actually the same question, 15, please, I'm getting.
Hey,
got one.
You already got one.
So-
Vote.
I propose that till the end of this current ATV season, that the town of Hartford opens roads trailhead to trailhead. Doesn't mean you all run every single road. You go from your house to the trail, closest trail. And we see how it goes. We will review it at the end of the ATV season, when the state of Maine says
What is the end of the ATV season?
it changes. It could be September 30th if we've got tons of rain.
November.
Because we've had it, or it could be November.
It's weather permitting, but it goes to the end of October to beginning of November.
End of October.
Okay.
November, just 6 months.
So to hunting season, the deer season.
Wait, you see a question?
Oh, gentlemen.
Wait, she was making a
Yeah.
motion. Wait,
Whoa. Leo's right.
Oh, Leanne, so sorry.
she was in the middle of a motion, I'm writing.
Okay, so I made a motion.
Motion in a second, and then,
Yeah.
then we can continue discussion.
Yeah. Do we have a second on the
So I
motion?
got to trailhead to trailhead, the end of the season.
Till the end of the season, then we will review how it all went, good or bad, make changes or terminate the proposal.
Okay, so my question is,
Wait, was there a second?
I second it.
Okay, so we have a motion in a second, and we can have further discussion.
Thank you.
I had just 2 questions on that. Wait till all these trails are passed.
Oh, we
I don't know why people would want, ain't it just a railroad track deal? So you're gonna give something permission railroad on the camp lawn to drive all the way down here over the canyon?
No,
In the trailhead,
no.
on the road?
And on the highway, it's
State road.
state road.
Right, I'm just saying, like, let's say Church Street, how they gonna be down?
They're gonna take secondary roads to the Church Street trailhead. So it could be Harlem, it could be Mahoney.
And, when it comes to hunting season, the law states, you have a hold. You cannot hunt on nobody's land with that hold without written consent
Right.
from that land.
Absolutely. And
So it's you got to keep, yeah, what I'm saying, you got to keep saying, it's not healthy, it's not healthy. What's not? That's why I don't think I'm doing it.
no, the lake, they'll still ask you permission. And we still have to follow, excuse me, we still have to follow state laws. It says like under the age of 16, You gotta be with an adult, you gotta have a helmet, you've gotta follow, you have to take a mandatory safety class, which I hope
So why
that,
not just say no now? And I don't see why it's up to the 3 of you selectmen to pick up the whole lot, you're pretty the majority of the vote in the town.
No, that's not the state
because
law.
that's not what the state law states.
State law puts it right in our law.
So in other words, if they don't want somebody on them roads, they have no say in it. If you're-
That's
you're
correct.
from the town, we'll find-
I'm afraid so.
Okay, gotcha. I'm clear.
Is there anyone else on discussion? Yes,
Could I interrupt?
I did read that all discontinued roads, which the town owns the right of way through, are open to ATVs at all times.
at all times, now, right now,
That's what I.
without us doing anything.
Hold it, discontinued roads? I thought when the town can discontinue, it goes back to the lane.
Depends what year it was.
You're gonna use it. Nobody else is gonna do it.
All right, this gentleman over here with his hand up, and your name?
Douglas Marshall, those discontinued roads, we add those to the current trail system we have for mileage.
Mr. Janelli?
Yes,
Yes. It's not a town.
I know, I'm saying yes, I hear you. I didn't hear the question.
Yes.
What was the answer, Mr. Janelli?
He didn't hear the question.
I did not hear the
The
question. is what I'm
question
saying.
was, can we add the discontinued roads of the town of Hartford to the trail system? For the
No,
purpose of
The
town-
secondary roads do not count as part
Not
of
even the
the trail.
discontinued roads.
Discontinued roads, I'll give you an example. River Road, it's a public road. The town of Sumner owned the 2 bridges, 3 bridges that are on that road. The town of Sumner gave us permission, actually gave us responsibility for those bridges. So we maintain the bridges on River Road. So yes, the town has the right to dictate how they want their secondary roads to be used. And the town has the right to be able to say what the speed limits are. However, as you just heard, people can use the roads regardless, and people that break the rules are probably using them now. But I mean, it's like anything else, folks. The majority will do the right thing. I hope I've answered your question.
Richard has his hand up, I don't know. It's over.
You can ask him.
Richard on Zoom, yes?
Yes. 2 things. I was thinking that, first of all, there was going to be a committee that was going to study this issue for a while. And my second comment is that I think this should be decided by a vote of the people of the town, not decided by the select board.
Unfortunately, that's not the way the law works.
Not do it with it. That's exactly right.
All right, is there any other comments? Yes, in the back.
I just have a question. My understanding was that
Could you please stand?
any trail that you open, my understanding was that any road that you open to ATV access, you are going to have to have sign. You have to create a sign and that has to be up until you have the ATVs using it.
That is absolutely correct.
It's available right now.
David, David, would you stand, please? The question on the board, hold on, he's gonna
I'd
answer
like
this
to
question.
at all the road agents, I'm not gonna use them to get trailer. So for instance, you get off from the railroad bed and then go up Tucker. And when you get to the T with Town Farmers, now that's a 4-way entrance, at least it looks like this trail right across the street. We're gonna post a sign, we're gonna post a sign on that little driveway, no ATV access. And to the left, if you head south down Town Farm Road, there's gonna be no ATV access sign. With the understanding that any homeowners that live down there have the right to come to this trail. So at the top of Tucker Road here, you're gonna have a no ATV access on your left, you're gonna have no ATV access on your front, right in front of you, and you're gonna have a green sign saying ATV access heading north on Town Farm Road. So the signage is gonna be huge, because it's all gonna be new. And we don't want people from wherever, Sumner, Canton, just driving around, it's not gonna happen. So,
So, do we have signage is really the question. Somebody can try, could you stand for a second? We were, it's still on your, just looking for your name. That's it, thank you, Leslie. All right, so the answer is yes, the Sumner Club has excess signage.
and if not, we'll buy them, and we
The
won't,
club will buy it, yeah,
would,
not the town. No. Okay.
We have plenty of homeowners that are probably willing to donate signage as well.
Great.
Jim Rutledge. Jim.
Wonderful.
We also have a lot of homeowners that may have private trails they may be willing to open up if things kind of smooth out here, you know.
That was Jim Brooks. Could you repeat yourself, sir?
Jim. Would you repeat yourself? We didn't hear a word of that.
Jim?
Jim?
I apologize, the voice on this is a little tough, but you have a lot of private homeowners that may already have trails in place that are willing to open them up if these things kind of smoothen out. You know, the talk of being able to go from one trailhead to the next is all fine, great and well, but as trailheads are developed in the future, we need to have access to those as well.
Sure enough.
Thank you. Did everyone hear what Jim said? He said he knows there's already private landowners that might have trails that they've built on their own property that are willing to open them up and having access so that they can get to those trails on the road will be very helpful. Is there any other discussion? All right, I would like to call, oh, is there somebody else?
Richard's hand still up.
One more
just
question.
wondered-
Richard, one more question, one more comment, and then we need to vote.
Yeah, I understand. What happened to the committee? I didn't get an answer to that question.
The committee was already reported through Dave, who was the original person that put the request together to have road access.
I can second that because I was at the committee meeting last week before I came to the town hall.
Gianelli.
Oh, Mark Gianelli. What was his comment?
You can second that.
Okay,
Yeah, I
Hold
just said
on.
I can.
great. All right,
Wait a minute. I read Kathleen Terrio's post on Facebook that declared that Leanne had told her there wasn't a committee, that it had never been appointed, and that no one had been sworn in. So what committee are you talking about?
Can go
the
by
ad
club.
hoc committee,
No, no, no.
the last meeting.
Leanne told the select board that wasn't a committee. Don't try to fool me.
All right, thank you.
Nobody was sworn in. So what committee are you talking about?
Leanne.
More or less a club.
I don't remember an ad hoc committee ever being sworn in the past.
Leanne.
At the last select board meeting, you guys made a motion to form a committee and then Lee listed off names. And we were gonna let it slide, but then Christine was telling people that it wasn't a public meeting and no one could speak and no one could watch. So I looked up our ordinance and ad hoc committee members have to be actually appointed and taken oath of office. That's where that came from.
The committee
think
did
a
do a
club
lot
is
of great
better than a
research.
committee.
The group that's going to join the Sumner Club did a lot of great research and we do appreciate that. I think we are ready to vote.
But this joining the Sumner Club also involves forming a Hartford club too, right?
Yes,
And it's not just,
yes.
Wait, you didn't answer my question. What committee are you talking about? There was no committee.
No, there's no committee, Lenny, but most of them have checked into on the club. And they're
Who?
gonna-
Who? What committee? Richard is asking you what happened to the committee. Now you're talking about a committee.
If I may, this is Mark Gianelli from Sumner. I think the confusion here,
Close the discussion
Listen,
And move to
Mark's
vote.
on there again.
Oh, Mark, go ahead.
no, I
The
was,
committee was gonna take 2 months to explore this.
That's right.
Well, they all got it done beforehand.
Who?
can,
Leanne declared there was no committee.
can I help out here?
There was a very informal committee that did a lot of work with a lot of heartfelt input into that non-official committee. Unfortunately, things went awry at the meeting and the committee kind of disbanded, but that doesn't mean that these people didn't put in the work.
Well, also, Christine Mumon never said people couldn't watch. She encouraged a Zoom meeting, but people weren't going to come and have a free-for-all like they were talking about on Facebook. And then people were so rude that Christine and another gentleman just quit the committee. So was there or wasn't there a committee, and are we respecting what Richard is asking? And Tom Hamilton has his hand up.
Okay, I would like to move this vote forward. We appreciate your input, Lenny and Richard. I would like to close the comments and move this vote forward, please.
Susan, you didn't give Tom Hamilton a chance to speak.
I would just like to hear the proposal formally stated. There's been so many ideas thrown around. I'm not sure what this proposal is. So could you maybe read what is being proposed?
Can't hear what he said.
He asked you to repeat the proposal.
To repeat it?
Leanne said repeat it. Yeah, repeat the
Listen.
motion, please.
Susan motion to propose to. All right, to the end of the current ATV season, open all roads, trailhead to trailhead, which ends in October and the beginning of November, then we'll renew how it all went, good or bad, and I write down exactly what you.
Right, and review and see if we want to continue. Okay, I would like to take a vote. All in favor of approving this temporary, because we're gonna follow the rules, correct?
Right, yeah.
Temporary access to the end of the ATV season. To review in November when they close.
You have to say it
Yep.
again because you already said your motion.
So
And you have motion.
I'd
and
like
second.
to,
You
I'd
don't
like
have
to
say
move
it.
this motion.
All in favor.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, we're moving
You
to
guys
the
can
next.
go home so we can finish our agenda now.
Don't forget my birthday's on Monday.
God.
Thank you very much. Yes,
I
Catherine.
would like to request that the select board members not have their cell phones while they're there. I think they're texting people and asking any questions.
Actually, I have people
I don't
who,
think that's-
people
I don't
who
think that's
want to
right.
speak.
No, they're on there. I don't think you should be
Not
texting.
everybody can get their voice through.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. But I do see what she's saying. It is inappropriate.
It is inappropriate.
I try to shut mine off and I get scolded. I try to keep the volume, so. And everyone here in the room too. It's just inappropriate to have cell phones on. We're all here face to face giving our time, so. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Those that want to stay, please stay.
We got one stuff going.
All right. We're gonna move on to town office damage repair. Do we have any quotes?
We've had an estimate for some time.
One, just one,
I
yeah, one
asked-
estimate.
I asked for several, we
Yeah.
have one. I submitted to the insurance company. I finally heard from them now. I can't even talk. Heard from them that we can start the work. How do you want to go about this? Are you gonna award it to the estimator?
I think that the estimator in good faith made an estimate and we offered it to several other people to make estimates that didn't have time. I think we need to move forward with the person that did make an estimate and accept it. Yes, Kathy.
I'm wondering though, which route do we want to go? Do we want to go just filling in the hole that was damaged? And some say the whole wall.
So what did the insurance approved what we asked for,
Which was the whole one.
which was the whole wall? I'm gonna suggest
There's more than an inch.
in today's world, we have to go through at least another winter before we start making some pretty major changes to that building, if we're gonna do that. Which hopefully we're gonna do that. So why would we not replace what the insurance company said we could? What do you think? We want to accept less, we don't want your money, insurance company?
I guess so.
Are we ready to make some big changes over there?
I mean, I'd like to see us have a new town office, to be perfectly honest.
And yeah,
And I don't want to do anything that amounts to gilding the lily.
okay,
You know, what we've got now is you know,
Filling
a little
blocks.
cement block dungeon.
yeah,
And I'd like not to not see us do anything to majorly upgrade it, but on the other hand, you know, we've got the insurance money to fix it and fix it right. I mean, doesn't it seem like that's what we all do?
You
so my
had
goal
telling
my goal
within
is
the
to-
building.
is, I want to keep you safe, Leanne, I want to keep Barbara safe, I want to keep our residents that are coming in there safe.
Maybe we
And-
should have Jersey barriers in front of the building too.
I work for C and Brown Big Apple stores, and we have people creating new drive-ups on a regular basis, as scary as that is. We have drive-throughs that we did not create. So it might be a part of what we need to do is to put some Jersey barriers up there, something, so that they're not driving through when they're getting in their car, and getting on their phone, or
And forgetting that. they're
putting their
putting it in
car in
reverse.
drive instead of park. So,
How about some antique cut granite instead of a Jersey barrier?
who was that?
Jim.
Jim
Antique,
Brooks.
lovely antique granite. Well, it would certainly be lovely, but on the other hand, look what we're protecting.
And yes,
I was just wondering,
your name?
Joe,
Hi, Joe.
whose insurance is it? The car owner's insurance or the park?
Oh,
The car.
Car.
Car. Well, if it's their money, let them put the whole wall. It's not hurting us, it's on the, it's not owner.
yeah, and I think the contractor is willing to do that. Yes, Leanne.
Here, the only issue may be I might have to use the hall during this.
You might have to.
We might have to get internet over here. If the powers, we haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
maybe
my thought is if we move you all over here in the short term to get that fixed. If we need to move internet, we move internet, or a bigger booster, or if you have to cut power here, we'll have to do something here.
I just, there might be a little extra cost.
Yeah, we can charge that to the insurance company.
Well, they have an estimate, they'll pay up to that much.
Right, do I need to make a motion?
Yes, I think so.
I would like to make a motion that the insurance company is willing to pay the estimate, and that is the person who drove into the building, their car insurance is paying for it, that we fix it appropriately at this time.
I second it.
All in favor? Not the dead fly, the dead fly is not in.
Two in favor?
No, I was in favor.
Three.
We'll smack
I
it.
have a contract somewhere here. Cause I don't know if you want to sign it now or wait till the next meeting, but
Oh, no, we'll send
We'll
that
do it
contract. Send it right over here.
You find it.
you can move on, I'll find it.
Okay. So, open session, new business, we have bulky waste collection and wood not collected, no wood. at all.
No,
Wait, what about open session? Did you just go right past
I
that?
have a question, yeah.
Oh, open session. Sorry, I'm a newbie, I'm just trying to figure out,
I'm excited.
I just went right to that next one. Is yours regarding open session?
No, this is the one thing. I'm excited.
Okay, I need to
I'm
go back.
excited.
Need to go, I'm sorry, I boo-booed. Open session, does anyone? have
Yes,
anything for open session?
Claire here.
Hello.
From CB.
So
Let's give her a
glad
chance.
CB.
My God, hasn't she?
She's got great
She has
numbers.
stuck it out.
She brings good tidings of great joy. This is Claire.
I started when she Norman, we've been working with the town of Hartford to prepare a grant which will be submitted tomorrow for heat pumps in this building and the town office. I know tonight I was like really wishing they were already in here. And the hope is to also have solar on the rooftop, so the town's not paying for that added electricity price that comes with the new heat pumps. The thing we need to discuss tonight before the grant can be finalized is there's kind of two decisions to make. I'm gonna share. I don't know if you have this on hand, but this is the draft. Oh, you do? Well, if you want a fresh copy. That's why I knew you were so happy about it. It's like these here. That's your need. Gonna get you. And the details of this question are in the budget narrative. So the issue here is between the solar quote that we were given quite late in the game. Unfortunately, it would have been nice to make this decision 2 weeks ago. But between that and the heat pumps outright is going to be above the maximum amount for the grant, which is 50,000. There's a few different options to get around that. One is there is a 30% direct pay credit for solar installations for for tax exempt organizations like municipalities. The issue there is that ruling has not been finalized. We have every reason based on the proposed rules that we've seen and from correspondence with the state saying that you can include that in this budget. We have every reason to think that that would apply here. The way to get it to apply is we would not request the grant funds for that 30%. So in that case, that would cover, sorry, just getting to that number. That 30% credit would cover $14,876 of the quote that we got for the solar. And the quote total was $49,588. So there's a decision. The first decision here is whether you're comfortable building that 30% into the proposal in order to also get the heat pumps. If you're not, then it'll be a choice between going with the solar or going with the heat pumps, because there won't be room. There's not room for both unless you're building in that 30%.
Well, you know, when we just started running budget year. And we're not really in a position to make any kind of budgetary decision.
So. We want to do one or the other, which would keep us under the budget amount. Heat pumps will do solar.
No. I can see you guys in the meeting. Because throw the question out there. You know, we can't do both, because we need both, they would be grand.
Right. I guess I'll throw a third option out there, which is I can go back to the solar installer who gave the quote. We have a good relationship with them. I had asked him to spec the system with the heat pumps in mind. He did not do that. I can go back to him and say, hey, I know you were trying to get to, what he did was 100% coverage. So that was going to cover your existing electricity costs and the cost of the heat pumps. I can go back to him and say, how much solar can we get
For the
for,
balance. For the balance of the thing.
for the balance of
Get that done before tomorrow, as the due date, and postmarked by 5 o'clock. That's all they want.
I'll say, I have been asking him to do this since February, since March. I've been emailing him weekly. He's been, pretty quick to respond at this point because
He knows deadlines.
he's been the one who got us to this point. And I'm confident that I can get some sort of just really rough, he specs it out. He knows how much each panel costs. He already factored in the cost of doing the electrical, of, putting in the brackets. It's really going to be like, if you only have this much, how many panels does that equate to? And I can get that number.
If you're saying about 30 panels, but you can't figure that, if you give me on the pages, and he's not gonna respond, we can write it back to you. Because, the deadline's tomorrow night, and
He was here a couple of weeks ago, I think.
I think he ended up coming last week.
Last week, yeah.
Last week. At this point, I've been frustrated with how slow he has been to respond, but at this point, it's been pretty, like, he gave me his cell phone number, we've been texting. He knows that we're in trouble here, and so I'm confident that he would be willing to cram that out for us, and I would try and get that to you first thing in the morning. This is going to be submitted by email. There's flexibility there. It also, my hope is that it will, not go until 5 p.m. It can be until 11:59. We're not going to be submitting that late, but I just want you to know there is a little bit more time there.
I think that we should get as many solar panels as our budget
Mhm.
offers. And if this guy will come to us and we can get submitted, even if we can't get, what'd you say, 30?
Yes, so right now it's
So if we
30.
can only get 15, it's still 15 solar panels. And heat pumps.
Mhm.
And this building is going to help offset costs.
There's no match on this, so this is
There's no match.
at no cost to the town.
Can't use that.
And I'll say, worst case scenario, if you're comfortable submitting, if that's what you want to go with, as many panels as we can get and the heat pumps. I don't think the state will reject the proposal if we do not specify the number. If we just say, they've given that flexibility in the past, it is a pretty lenient program. I think worst case scenario, we could say as many panels to be decided.
Yeah.
Once the grant period begins.
if we can get ready to that, I think that's something big, right?
Okay.
And I'm sure the state understands these smaller municipalities. I would love to have you.
I just have a quick question. In 20 years, when these panels are no longer usable, where is the disposal cost coming from?
Right, so the plan is for that. We've spoken to the installer about this. That'll be something that's on the installer. At that point, I'll say it's probably going to be much more than 20 years. These are have a warranty for 25 years. A lot of panels last 30, 35, some even 40 years. And so we'll touch back with the installer at that point, but it should not be on the town to take care of that.
One of the things about solar panels is just great, no moving the furnace. Nothing weighs out.
And with the understanding that any array you have up there can be added on later, especially if you get the 30% kickback. So whatever we can put up there,
So-
maybe next year we'll have a little bit we can budget.
Yeah, I'll add with the 30% kickback. Well, in the future, that could apply. The proposed rule that they have is if you are using grant funding. So in this case, if we say we're going to put 30,000 towards as many panels as we can get, we can't get the 30% back on that 30,000. We could get it back on future installations, future grants. Yes.
I just wanted to say that the estimator said he was going to include money for snow deferrers or whatever, so it might help with the ramp. Yeah, so it might help with the snow coming up down onto the ramp a little.
My question is, this grant, does it have to go, this is all through this one contractor, or any other resources have been looked at? As far as like, we're not, like, what's the newest thing out there? Forward, I was really my husband, Carol Anderson, we live in the after and forward, and now they did it, now it's all. The roof at the top of the sheets, they even verify it in the panel, the solar. And there's no going back, there's no going away. It's a particular thing, the type of land becomes big, and they click on the outreach or roof, which is solar, and everything. I'm just wondering, you know, if it have to do this, you know, material line, you look into, but I don't know tomorrow, that's it.
Well, no, I think especially if we are building flexibility into it and with the estimates, but you know, it's up to the town how you want to put it out to bid when the money actually comes in. This was just to get a quote. Typically towns.
So that we can actually retain the dog.
To have, you know, just to have a ballpark so that we're not, you know, totally winging it, to see what an installer says. So I think that's a good point. I think it would be up to the town if you want to pursue, you know, look around at some of those more kind of newer technologies. I don't know if you're interested in, you know, new roofs other than just typical solar.
Of the application.
You know, when you put in the application, and when we get our dog, we would go out and see who would actually the dog.
So yes, it could be added in as even, I could, if you're interested, I could add that into the task. We've done that. I'll say in the town of Norway, they're also installing solar, and they had a situation where there are disagreements about the suitability of the roof, and so siting could not be determined in time for the grant, and so we built in to the task in the grant that, you know, extra time and funds would be put into having a roofer come look at the roof, do a suitability assessment, make sure it's safe for solar. And so we could do something similar here where we say, this is the amount that we're dedicating to putting solar on the roof. This number will, we'll have that in hand and put it out to bid and explore different options, knowing that this roof is probably the one to go with because it's a nice, from our current, installer, it's a good. It's a great south facing.
It's kind of.
Yeah. Great. Awesome.
Well, I think we accept Claire's options with the agreement that we're gonna put on as many solar panels that we can afford as the grant funds. Yes. All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you, and
you have to sign something.
I need you to sign something. So unfortunately, I didn't know we'd have a new select board chair, but right now I have Kathy's name on there. I think we can still. So it's that, and then there's a page on the other side. Sweat out the day. The final thing, and this might be a question for you, I was wondering if you had any. As I'm asking this, I'm like, you may have shared it already. I'm sorry if you did, but the bills for heating in particular, I know you had shared electricity, but it would be great to just throw in, how much it takes to heat this.
You need them tonight, or can I email them tomorrow?
You can
Or
email them.
okay. For
the past year?
For the past year would be ideal, and if you can't, don't worry about it, I can take that sentence out and just add some,
You said just for this building?
for this
Each?
building, yeah, for each. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, oh, and there's one more there. Luckily, we have. Yeah. I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else? So, move to the next one. Thank you, Claire. Have a good night, guys. All right, so new business, opioid collection would not collected. Just to start, I was under the impression that anything under a pickup truck load was the picked up. So, but I know that it wasn't, so.
Actually, I got 3 different answers from this. One of them was no nails, okay? So the letter that was sent out, definitely said the nails were sent. The other answer I got was no construction material. So now you're saying that it was pickup trucks.
That's what we were told, that very day.
Well, when you put out a letter, when you put out something like this, then the townspeople are going by this. So there was a lot of people that were, I mean, I could tell you, truck delivered in 1 town and 4 boards, that wasn't even a pickup truck. And there was a lot of people like that, I mean, I had a pickup truck, I had a lot of stuff. But, and you must have got a lot of calls.
Yeah, I tell people a wheelbarrow, because if you're doing demo, you have to take care of it yourself.
Yeah.
But
The
I mean, this-
gentleman from Archie said that they were told that they could not pick up more than a pickup truck load of debris. That's what the Archie's guy said to us.
I have the letter, I have the letter right
Out
here.
there
Which
next week. I don't know.
I
We're talking about.
spoke to them. I spoke to them.
Yeah.
Again. So we had stuff that we didn't pick up as well, and he said. The board instructed him not to pick up any wood.
No.
Construction debris, that's what people need.
I have the letter right here that he was given.
I'm just telling you.
It says no commercial or large amounts of construction debris such as roofing lumber, sheet rock, bricks, toilets, etc.
Yeah,
It says
but
large
pallets-
amounts,
but pallets
and they
like that,
signed it.
The pallets on any.
So,
He mentioned pallets, maybe. Well,
yes.
What did he say about the point? He said nothing?
Yes.
Mhm.
I know years ago, that many years ago, that Hartford did ask or was considering going to the Buckfield transfer station. I know that that's a closed door. However, Mexico, is there any option to try to make a deal?
You can bring
We
stuff
can
in.
go there,
Mhm.
drop, hey, we'll drop our stuff off. We can.
Police Archies would take.
Mhm.
Don't need to live there.
No.
You do not need a permit, you do not.
You have to pay per, you have to pay for the weight.
In Mexico or on? Do you know anything about Mexico?
I personally don't believe that the average person on the street is maybe doing it. I own property in Mexico, so I have a tax.
They do, they can. I asked him.
You know. think it would be in the best interest of the town to look at options to eliminate the bulky waste pickup, because there are only, not everyone is using it, okay, but everyone is paying for it. So the people that use it, make them pay for what they want to get rid of. That's just my personal opinion. Granted, I use it, but, you know, I pay for it too.
Never got rid of their position. They got an amount of money that they don't get paid it. So, and that one, if they recovery some. So, they got a certain amount of money that they could, or tonnage that they each household could bring. Then after that, they had to pay. They got rid of the whole bulky waste pickup. And they actually offered no interest stuff up.
I agree that I think we need to look at getting rid of it, and I don't wanna take that service away from young people, but I've watched multiple times. Known people from not Hartford came and dumped at different places, so I had 3 vehicles come to my house. They dropped stuff off, took some of it, but they dropped off a lot of their stuff, and they were not Hartford residents. So it's a great service, but I think unfortunately it's getting too expensive. And it's not doable.
And yes, question, on the weekly pickups, do they charge you by truckloads? Do they, you know what I mean, on the weekly? Tonnage. So they do charge you that, because I noticed, they charge, one is route pickup, which costs X amount, we're gonna drive to the town, and then we're gonna assess the tonnage. So they do weigh it when they get on. Okay, I have a question then. Somebody down one thing down the road here had, and this is what they did, is they separated, they tore a trailer apart, because there were 2 trailers side by side. They dismantled one trailer, and on 50 separate properties, they took these big, huge bags that were filled with insulation and put them on 3 different properties and spread it out. So they're dismantling construction and putting that in their weekly pickup. Is that really what they should be doing?
The only dangerous thing about not having this pickup is people are gonna start having stuff in the woods. That's the hardest thing to deal with. I mean, I've picked up down on the railroad bed 2 truckloads of tires, snowmobiles, and all kinds of stuff down there.
Oh, yeah.
The unfortunate part
Down
of
past
that
my
is
place.
you see that, but we have bulky waste pickup now, and there's so much.
Look, Bill.
Not as much as if-
Right, well, not as much as if we maybe, but and some of that crap that comes, that we find on the railroad bed down past my house, some of that stuff is probably coming from out of town. You know, there's no guarantee that it's not coming from out of town. People drive around pickup trucks all the time. They can offload whatever they want. Stephen.
My question is, we had, the last time we had a put down Swan Pond,
Yep.
right, very cost, tens and tens of thousands, right, from that.
Yeah,
What did we spend this year on healthy years? What did we spend?
You don't know the bill yet.
We spent last year.
We don't have, yeah, 20.
Last year, we spent last year. Yeah.
You bring it with you.
This year, apples to apples. 20, or, you know, it's like, our still real.
Yeah.
I say, the opposite, we got to say, like, we came into the work, we find it, not running off the street. So, it's saving us by not running that facility, going to the art.
so we can't open that facility again. Back when we closed the dump, you had state regulations that said you had to reopen it or open it so many days a year, and we did not do that many years ago. So then to reopen it after, the state was not gonna allow us. So that is not an option on the table anymore. So we maintain a property that we can't open again, but we are required to mow it and take care of it till death do us part.
No, The one that we mow is in the town of Sumner.
That's not our dump.
I think this is, yeah, I think this is going, that's going back past the memory. What goes on, yes, the mowing doesn't take place in Hartford, the mowing is a dumpster, it used to be a burning dump. Right there by the river on 140, that was the Hartford Sumner dump. It was
So
not,
sorry.
not a transfer station, it was before the word transfer station had even been invented.
It was before 30 years ago, because you know, I'm turning 30.
We should have went with them. Well, you should have, but you couldn't tell that to Joan Vesper, my God.
Yes,
So back to the subject. Archie would offer to bring a dumpster by the town office for people to put their wood in. It's in your packet, the price.
Right,
Or we can just, they have some actual complaints. Or we can just tell them to bring it to Mexico. It's up to you guys.
or is it like a small pile on Berry
was
Road?
actually
There's no
looking-
reason
I
why
know
they
it.
shouldn't have taken it. It's
Well, like I said,
Oh, yeah,
one of
yeah.
that one.
right,
Yeah, fence post or something on it.
Yeah. and then-
right.
okay, so what it says here is, good afternoon, I roll off dumpster in Hartford for 1 ton of material. In 1 week would be rental, would be $602.80, that's the lowest it would go. And we would estimate a 4-ton load for this, and the estimate for that would be about $910 for everything included. Let us know if you have any questions. Or if you want to order a 30-yard dumpster. Now, if we order a 30-yard dumpster, people can come and bring their wood and put their wood in it, and all kinds of other stuff.
Well, it would have to
I
be
think
monitored.
it sounds like a can of worms to me.
Right.
One day,
That's-
have to be monitored.
Yeah.
And who's gonna monitor it?
And what
We'll
day?
have to volunteer, we'll have to all chip in.
Right.
But, and then be more clear with Archie next year on what he is.
Household debris versus, yeah.
But it's up to you.
My neighbor just paid to have his hauled away, because he didn't take it. I make a motion that we do not have a dumpster.
Well, I think, could you put that in a positive? Positive rather than not have?
Yeah.
Can you say, I move this, we recommend people to take their debris to, a location that will accept it?
I make a motion that our community take their wood debris to MWAC or another location that would accept that at their cost, because we're unable to monitor the dumpster.
I mean, some of the stuff.
Wait, okay,
Get
get their wood debris
and I
to
was-
MWAC.
Or
That's
other facilities
or other facilities
that would accept it.
that would accept it.
I'll second that. I will second that, and I'm gonna suggest that, okay, and now that we have a motion in a second, we can have discussion.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
So you're saying if anybody that did the work, they got a big, big stuff to pay for it? Now we have a agree on?
I didn't hear you.
So.
What was the motion?
Few people that,
Yeah,
you're telling them, sorry, you're taking this location and they for themselves. We would pay taxes, but.
because the option we have in place is not a good option. Empty dumpster.
No.
People can-
First, it's about $25, $30. Steve, the ordinance can be. More Archie.
He came here and talked to us.
And this is what they came up, with. Dales are accepting. This is part of the ordinance. We got it.
Solid waste, yeah.
I get it. But I mean, say something, and when you go do it, talking about a lot of works. For some reason, I did not argue myself.
Rotten pallets and stuff
Getting
like that.
help is a problem, staff.
I mean, if you put 3 acres, you could take it. Where I certainly don't, but, I mean, for me. and-
What's going on?
I don't know.
I was working, I go all.
You guys gonna talk to the board,
So anyway, we're gonna have to, when we.
With
in order
better
for me to go
clarification.
over this,
It's gonna have to be, right, it's gonna have to be, look, this is what's happening. You're not gonna ditch us next time.
With
It's gonna be more
clarification to
clear
Archie's next year.
Exactly, very clear before it goes into the paper. I was fortunate enough, all my college went over to Joe and the great big burn pile. The only thing I had to do was be doing them on the truck, so like I told Kathy, I'm not too worried about it. But it was the idea of somebody with 1 pound or 2 pounds and, you know, a few pieces of wood, that was ridiculous. That was totally ridiculous.
I actually have the list from the waste committee and they suggested no construction debris, no roofing, no lumber, no sheetrock, no bricks, no toilets. But the selectmen said no large amounts. But Archie's misunderstood.
This is what went into the paper.
That's our normal,
Right.
it says no construction debris.
Which was approved now,
Right.
but Archie didn't follow that.
Well,
And we didn't pay a tonnage fee for it either.
I understand.
I'm not saying it's right.
It's
We
not
need
right.
to clarify it next year and make it very clear to Archie that
You know, and
that's not
maybe,
acceptable.
maybe that's what the solid waste committee is for, is to help educate people. That, you know, the fact of the matter is, if it's unpainted wood composts.
Right,
Might take a while, but wood composts, so wood can be burnt. You know, you don't necessarily have to set it at the side of the road. I mean, I know I saw a bunch of piles sitting around, some of them were things that with 3 acres, you might find a place for.
These facility committee contacted her too, you say, hey, would you mind just picking up these few people who got forgotten?
There's a lot of people all around town.
Town.
It's not just a few.
there's a lot.
That's why I was.
There's 3 piles on Berry Road alone, so. No stickers. There's piles of tires on 219, but they never stickers.
There were 7 skidder tires by my dumpster, and there's still, somebody stacked them. They were just all over the place, somebody stacked them, because somebody wanted to see things look more beautiful, but the tires are still there. What do we do?
Where's money, it's gonna buy it, it's gonna maybe money, buy it.
Well, not skidder tires, I mean, to say pump truck
So
tires.
you want to fix the wood?
I don't know what you're gonna do for the people that pay taxes and aren't getting rid of this car.
We didn't pay for it. We're not gonna get billed for the wood.
Right, but the people are still pissed.
I know.
And many of those folks don't have a vehicle to move that stuff. I get it, because my neighbor didn't, and I helped him find someone to move it. I get that.
All right, what do you pay by the weight, Spongy? Is it
Yeah.
a weight?
Tonnage, yeah.
Well,
I will pick it up, take it to the place, pay me. Seriously, I'll take my trailer, my truck, I'll go grab it all.
You would have to have a contract, insurance, what do you have?
And where are you gonna bring it, Archie's?
The other one, I'll take it to Auburn. I just think I have a contract in Auburn. With energy on it. That's my great economy.
How would we do that? We'd have people that call in and tell them that they still have a pile on the side of the road.
And they just put it like in contract mix and put the second one on Tuesdays. We need a small amount.
Oh, we want people to come. In my mind, we would want someone to call in and fill up and say, I still have a pile on the side of the road, not a new pile, the pile. Maybe Kathy, you guys think.
I don't know what you have to do.
Because what if it ends up being way more than a dumpster?
Also, they got drop off fees.
It's $910.
for a dumpster, but what if
You
there's
said
more than a
total.
dumpster worth?
He said it should. Did he say it should cover it?
You said $910 would cover everything.
Everything. We would estimate for a 410 load for this. There's no huge pile of wood, it's just little ones.
And we would still park the dumpster and then expect people to bring their wood to that dumpster.
And we know a lot of people can't do that.
Maybe their neighbors ones.
They used to haul trash, basically now houses for banks.
I have a trailer, it's 40 yards, it's a big cage trailer. And 5 years ago, I was paying $1,000 for the dumpster. So a third of it was $1,000. All you can fit in it, that would be said, or
4-ton dumpster, he estimates for $910.
the 49. That's the dumpster weight too, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the dumpster weighs. Ton. That's how we.
Then these people need to get it out of dumpster.
Right.
And then hopefully only people. That are willing to.
Hopefully only wood and hopefully only hard.
I mean, you can't, you got like, these dumpsters, and smoking things. Whenever, I mean, where the dumpster in town, stuff like that. I don't know, I don't even know what.
What's the thing now?
For a whole year.
Yeah, I certainly see both sides, because they didn't get their stuff picked up. I mean, here's a small pile, 2 small piles on my road, like smaller than this, and they didn't pick it up. I couldn't believe it.
It just says large amounts, it's not clear.
And they're not even large. Like I said, there's 2 or 3 piles that are smaller than this right here.
I don't know what's the, I mean, I don't know, you can't figure it out, because there's nobody else to do it. I mean, we should, if we could find.
Like
something-
Kathleen said, placed down the road. They had a big pile
Oh, yeah,
and it's gone.
140.
They picked it up?
Yeah, we're
They
building.
did pick up that insulation today.
Oh, I don't know
Yes,
about the
other day.
insulation, but I'm talking the bulky.
Oh, yeah,
always stay.
yeah, the whole room. Somebody took the trailer,
Huh?
somebody took the trailer. Somebody, Mr. Ricker passed away. Right.
Yes,
And the gentleman who bought Mr. Ricker's property, bought all the property, there's 3 lots, 3 bedrooms.
yep.
He had a guy there for 6 weeks, getting all the scrap out of it. And he said, like, it's done. I mean, that might run the list, not too bad. Now, drive by, it's not this thing right now. Looks nice.
Wow.
So, if the cost of now $100, they got nice, especially. It was worth $5. Oh, yeah, it was, like I said, there was nothing that wasted, there was a guy that all stuff about it up, fixed it apart, got the one talking about, the guy working something on the street. And Saturday, they were, it's for 6 weeks. It's crappy.
Yeah, I
And
know.
your proposal would be that you would go and pick this up?
Yeah.
People would call into the office? You would then go pick it up,
Yep, we'll get it, and I'll try to save most especially for everybody.
but you pick it up.
Who's to say, like, we said, oh, we got some money.
No, no,
How are you gonna know?
We have a list of people.
You already have, oh, yeah.
No, it's on the side of the road. If it's no, it's more than truckload, I'm only taking truckload, I'm not gonna take it. Just my idea. If not, then it's gonna be pushing, so that
Quite like Leland said, you got to have a contract and.
I have all.
Huh?
He already has all that, right? Leanne,
I don't think you.
What?
How about if we get the dumpster and notify residents that if they want hooked up, they can hire Steve to pick it up and bring it to the dumpster. And so,
There you go, well, there you go, there's that.
They're gonna leave it inside of it. We'll have the money. I don't know. It's not about something.
Well, you know, some people can afford that and some people can't.
But me, I'll look for free and where.
so you have a motion to not,
To not hire a dumpster? You know, my time is limited these days, I don't have a day to spend.
I don't either.
babysitting a dumpster. You got a babysit the mother, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have time to babysit it.
I can on a Sunday. I don't care. Or Tuesday or Friday.
Think the day would be enough?
I'm sorry.
Think one
It
day
would
would
have to
be enough?
be.
Well,
it would
yeah.
have to be.
we would have to have it so limited, so out of town didn't bring stuff.
Well, and the other thing is that, you know, could we get Archie's to agree to pick it up immediately, so that it doesn't get piled up with all kinds of other toilets and stuff.
We only got one day though.
Well, they only got one day, but if it was here, it was brought here on, they're not gonna come here on Sunday. So supposing they bring it here on the Friday, then it's there over the whole weekend.
No, we can arrange it.
You know,
Awesome.
I like to think so. I don't know, they were complaining awfully at the transfer station in Buckfield yesterday that they're having come to pick up the dumpster full of trash, so maybe, you know, I don't know.
The only thing is, we don't know what the bill is, we don't know if it's gonna be over budget or not yet.
There you go. So, you know,
Gotta get it cleaned up before winter, because that's how that piece of debris got in that hole. And it was left over from the last year, it was out there for the whole year, it's got pushed into it by a snowplow.
well, it does sort of infer that the people who put it out there did not take responsibility. for it.
That stuff right on the side of the road, is 1,000. Not gonna move.
No, yeah, but it is their stuff nonetheless.
We did write an ordinance that said that they had 10 days to pick up their debris that wasn't picked up, but
It's
again,
not in the ordinance, that was a suggestion from.
oh, that was a suggestion, it's not in the ordinance.
So was it worded in the way that you hold Archie's accountable to pick it up where it sits on people's residence? Because that's what they should have done at the very beginning.
It's not,
Said it,
it's not clear, that's all, no large amount.
tell them that they must do business with us in the future, that it needs to fulfill the contract.
That's a lovely thought, but I'll tell you right now, we have looked into, years ago, we looked into having somebody else do this, and you know what? There was
Well,
not
that's
another,
another
there's
reason
not
why
another service that was
They
interested.
picked up. Again, this be the last year. When we call it good, people bring their own trash.
Be more clear in the contract. Well, a large, I think we want to improve the season. Be more
I
clear.
agree with Dave and Diane, just don't even do public notice. Costs too much money, not every resident uses it, and we run into all these issues.
Yeah,
Refrigerators left on the side of the road,
yeah.
let your ordinance take care of that by every year. You propose.
So they could hire,
That's
they
it.
could call Steve and hire them to take it to that house.
Mhm.
Well, before we instituted curbside collection, we had curbside collection, so anyone who wanted it, Bert Hawkins went around with his high boards on the side of his truck, and he would collect trash for anybody who wanted to pay to have the trash picked up.
Yeah.
Everybody else went to the dump,
Anyone else takes care of your own.
you know, and so if you were wealthy enough that you could afford it, then you would. But, you know, to some extent, you know, I agree with what they're saying about getting rid of bulky trash, but because some people don't use it, on the other hand, some people don't send a kid to school too, and we still all pay for that.
That's not a state mandate. Both ways. Sending kids to school is a state mandate.
Well, it's a state mandate that we have to have a way for people to get rid of their.
Oh, yes, it is, but yeah. Yeah, there's more mandate there than you think.
Think about it. 2 weeks.
I don't know, that might have to go up into the town meeting, that's almost that.
Keep man.
Raise the money.
So. We have a proposal on the table. To not hire a dumpster. And it has to get a second, so it could be voted on, or the board could decide not to vote on it and to go with the director. We've had some discussion.
You don't have the money, right?
I'm sorry.
You don't have the money for the 900.
I don't know, yeah, we don't have the bill yet for the bulky, I asked for it and they.
Think we better wait. See if we have them funds.
I think we can table this, we don't want to table it much more than
So,
a couple weeks, because we want to get it,
Next meeting.
yeah.
so don't you have to vote yes or no? Is it been motion and seconded?
It could die. Or it could
die.
I withdraw my motion. How's that?
No, I withdraw my second.
And I vote that we table it
Just don't
until the
vote.
next select board meeting where we'll make a decision. Hopefully we'll have the bill from Archie's and be able to make a decision. from there. Okay? All right,
Can I say one suggestion? How about? I wouldn't do it. take pictures of where it is now, at least two people's, whatever, in the file, so it goes down to where you guys try to do it. If it got bigger, you can say, listen, you have a photo, you have a little bit, now it's whole cover. Don't copy it, they're gonna take what's going to do. It's-
I'm thinking now, there's so many people.
Trash, beach.
Trash talk.
We talk trash on the regular basis, yeah.
If we have someone that calls about the wood again, or the ones that have already contacted us, can we direct them to take a picture or?
I have pictures.
Hmm,
I think they're in your.
I see some, yeah.
Okay. They are. I didn't know if that was all of them or.
Only one who sent pictures.
All right, we have a catering application, Revis Catering.
I move we approve the catering application.
I second that we do Revis Catering application. All in favor?
Catering.
A party,
Partay.
a private party? But we have to approve it if they're gonna be serving alcohol, is my understanding.
Correct.
Or we serve alcohol.
We have to. approve
I
it
don't
if it's
think
alcohol,
this is
yeah.
for the hall, is it?
No.
It's a catering and a private party that involves an out-of-town outfit bringing in a bar. Or wine or whatever, it's not our party and it's not really a,
Oh, so that's for somebody that's having something here?
yeah, no, not
In
here.
the town,
Somebody,
like
Their own
look at my
business.
house, somebody's getting married stupidly.
qualified
And
catering
they need a
organization
caterer.
application for catered function. A title and purpose of the event, wedding reception at the Bonaventura Vineyards, and of course they make wine, so perhaps you'd like to look at this.
That's the permit.
I got it. Oh, this is.
Yes,
That's the one to sign.
I think we've all approved and seconded. Do we need to do an all in favor?
Yes.
Great. All right, next. Use of town property to store private property or Zelly.
Yeah, I've been getting questions about Bill's trailer and the sand pit, you know, the sand pit. So.
Railroad bed,
The
the railroad bed.
So how does that all come into play where these kids to store that nothing there and use it?
The only thing he's ever used it for, is, to my knowledge, is mulch hay that is used on town
But he's
roads.
getting paid to put that one thing out. It's his business trailer. Right? I mean, I'm just telling you, what people are asking me. if you have
So
this-
why don't you direct them to ask the town hall?
Pardon?
Why don't you direct them to ask the town office rather than you?
If someone has a question about that trailer, they should go to, instead of asking you, Lee mentioned that they should go and talk to Leanne about it. And Leanne,
There's a lot of people that ask me questions on baby stuff. There's a lot of people that, you know, I was talking to the guy in Jericho.
Leanne, you have,
I'm just asking you what the rules and regulations, I mean, somebody might wanna put a cargo container there and call it safe storage.
Why can't anybody
It's
do it?
open season.
That's the thing, you're leaving it open for anybody in the town.
I'm not even sure we're doing that. Leanne, do you have feedback on that?
I just know it's been there, and they store hay in it, and it's handy in the center of town for them to access it.
For the town road purposes.
Right, he's the road commissioner.
What, once a year?
So this is how it is. It's mulch hay. This barn, it's for, it's high quality, it's not gonna take their horses and cows. And this is for work to be done on our roads. Those it, he provides it to us, it's really expensive. Compared to their $100 million.
We're just driving up to this place up there.
Well, what's more, the stuff that's in the barn up there is feed quality, not mulching. Mulching is anything that got rained on, or they got dusty or whatever.
It's got property right on the corner, why can't you put it there? Why does it have to be here? This is gonna be a parking lot for ATVs.
Yeah, it is.
So
for
why,
snow-
why?
It is for snowmobiles.
No, let's do it. I mean, he's better, I mean, much property does he have to pay in town?
Well, we can certainly talk to them about it and find out the origin, because as far as I know, as long as I've lived here, it's always been there storing hay for the roads. But I didn't know any arrangement or anything, so we can certainly talk to them about it. And see if there's another location for it, since we expect that there could be more. Vehicles parked.
Like I said.
I get that it's a central location, that's for sure. Okay, and. Appointments and resignations.
I think the rec committee submitted some resignations, but they're not an actual town committee, so I'm not sure if I would act on them. And we do have ACO open, I'm not sure where that stands.
We haven't heard back from them. Wow.
Pardon?
Oh,
No. No, I think the last I heard.
Advertise it out?
On a Friday night, I responded and officially saw this saying, it's the first time in the they're having something like this on a Friday night.
right,
And she said, oops, she got the date wrong. But
nothing happens.
Nothing else has been rescheduled. So, we'll see.
Schedule it one more time, see what happens. If she don't show.
I
then,
think she should.
I don't want to get into.
I'm happy to-
I would like to not get into a discussion about employees at this time.
Yeah, we can. I'm happy to assist Lee or make a call and have her come to the next select board meeting, and if not, then.
Well, it's not coming, it's looking.
I mean, she's coming before. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you do have a question over there.
Ken,
I have a couple of people I'd like to suggest for the cemetery committee.
So there was a different discussion than what we were just having.
Appointments, she's
Yeah.
talking.
I know. He's talking about appointments. Who's that?
Would you feel one of the cemetery committee?
Thank you.
Walter Thomas,
Oh, sit down.
Talking about Betty Rathon?
What Bashar did you say, Ken?
Keith Vashon,
Keith.
You got one with Betty?
I'm letting Kathleen.
I know. you.
No, is Keith one of Millie's?
Yes,
Ken, is Keith one of Millie's?
yes,
Yeah. Millie's
son.
oldest.
Okay, so that'd be Betty's brother.
Cool. Do we need to nominate from there? So I nominate Keith Vashon and Walter Thomas. We nominate Kathleen and David too. Do you want to be on the committee as voting members?
Don't forget to go take your oath.
I mean,
The Buddha has to.
I believe.
Sorry,
it's
I went with the
well,
French
I'm-
version.
Of course you did, but I'm friends with Betty and that's how she spells her name.
Excellent. All right, so I made those 4 recommendations. Any second it?
A second.
All in favor of appointing these people to the cemetery committee and the people.
Really good job.
Excellent, yes. We had a very long agenda.
Almost.
This correspondence, I don't think I copied it all because it's constant.
I went against it from the get-go, but we just wanted a little more info. What's that?
Well, I thought a couple people just.
I don't know what's in it.
I have a brand new one, and it says all the things that
There's probably, yeah, probably the others that are.
you know, people are saying, the big factor says you're not supposed to ride on the road.
But I'm a house.
That thing driving around, it's only 50 miles an hour.
There's a problem, something because when
They just didn't.
when the department is, I think, says it's not supposed to.
What a lot of it is common sense.
God help him, God bless him, I know how they are, but my personal feeling is. It's
You know what?
that we should probably have it, but I will be having it, so, and we'll have to work on. Or so. Right. You have a friend that's.
Yep, oh yeah.
So we are in the process, we have our training option, training thing here on our agenda. And I do not believe we have any pending training.
Do you have any training how to clean the cemetery?
You will eventually. And again, I want to say that none of the people in the cemetery complain if you don't do it how there. They do not talk back.
Gotta respect them.
And we are reviewing correspondence as we speak.
Yeah, here's a letter of resignation from Elizabeth. Dear friends, I've enjoyed my time on the Recreation Committee, but it's time to resign. Thanks to all who have helped, Elizabeth. I think it would be nice if Armin Rowe and Arthur Harvey, who got the beach for the town, and some mention of June Davis for, who served on the Recreation Committee until she was 87, and always said when she got to the beach, we are so lucky. That's the motto of the beach.
That's nice. Kathy, Susan, it'd be kind of cool if we did a little plaque at the beach with their names on it.
Or something else. to do with the, Thank you for your generous and making a great evening. Black and painting maybe to a special best for the next year. This is from Lorraine.
Ah. Oh, pictures up there.
And her plan.
And her phone.
Okay, there you go. Here's this, and this is the rest of the correspondence. You can do that if you like.
Okay. So I think that we can move to adjourn this meeting. I will review the correspondence after, so you guys don't feel like you have to stay. So I'm the last person to look at it. Is there anything else? Oh, wait, she's having
Is
such
it
a.
just the other agreement?
Okay. I'm just excited about banging the gavel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's hard to hear. Meeting adjourned. So look at this. This is the pile of signed stuff. This is not signed. This is the pile as I got.
Already been done for ACO.
Where is appeals?
We needed.
Yeah, we took care of all that stuff before the end of
Before the end of
the
the year.
Okay.
You did some of it. I emailed, you didn't get an email? Okay, somebody need to. Yeah. That's the information. Yep. Sorry, that's when you did the first one for me. Yep, good. Okay, that's all we need. Thank you.
Thanks for showing up, Leslie.
Right, no, I appreciate that.
This is the original.
No, I think that is the one that was in my packet that I showed it to, one of our residents.
Missing something?
Yes, that's what we do.
Hey, I don't think I signed those appointments.
I'd like to get this thing on. Oh. Oh, my God. If I get the hands going.
Becky has interest in that. That's opposite.
What, or is you?
Interest in it.
Maybe ACL.
Okay, well, we'll see what,
Or you were gonna
we'll see
call
what we end up with that.
That's awesome. Becky can.
Becky.
Well, actually, the constable used to do both, right?
Oh, gosh.
All right, ladies, you all set?
Thank you.
You get what you're looking for, Leanne.
We want the chairs we picked up.
Oh, yes, I can get it.
No.
You could have signed this and I'll come out too. Okay, now I did sign them. Kathy, did you pass those back? Thank you ever so much.
Oh, I have a little tiny cake. I didn't take it out of the fridge.
Would you
It's so
stop
hard.
and say that?
But you-
Oh, my God.
And all I can say to that, my friend, is be careful with you.
No, because not getting over means I'm below ground.
Well, that's right. My sister, Abby,
You take it home or?
my,
No,
my-
they-
my
they said
sister,
they want these.
my sister Abby was terrified of going over. What was gonna, she's gonna get removed, she's gonna, experience some of the, maybe she get that shoes. But, maybe she gets out, maybe, all of the things that have to go on. She's so worried about it, she doesn't, she's 45 minutes cleaning up.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
She'd been a selectman in the town of Fayette.
Fayette, yeah.
And then she'd actually run twice for legislature. She was a full-time legislator. And she was in a speeding accident.
Contract. Right here. Sorry. 45. My, okay, so well, it's, you know, I asked you. Okay. I want other people to eat some.
It's probably rocks.
Really? So I want to give some away. I want a couple pieces, but I could send it with somebody else. Let's not even eat it. You won't? Why not? Nope, because it's all touching. Oh, what? There's food touching food. He doesn't eat frosting, he doesn't eat, but I do.
You're not worried about that, it's money problem.
Like that. Steve, I don't know if you're ready. Oh, you could.
Hey, Lee?
Yeah.
Hey, Lee?
One of the things that really gets me, that was the people that. Some of the most vulnerable, economically vulnerable. And that's things that, she mentioned how, they told help this